On this dreary night, Wraithmore Mansion is draped in shadow. Somewhere in the corridor, a ghostly figure looms. Watch out! Your every move could startle the area's long-term residents awake. PUBG Mobile's new Spooky Soiree version is now available. Here's a quick run-through of V4.0's themed mode and all the specialty gameplay it has to offer. In Spooky Soiree, you can pick up skill items that infuse Ghosty with ghostly powers. However, you can only equip up to one main skill and 2 passive skills at a time. If you prefer to fight over supplies, you should choose skills that boost your offense and survival. The first skill is Floating Balloon, which lets you fly for a brief period. It's really effective for repositioning or moving to support teammates. Scan is a skill that provides a lot of enemy intel. The Heal and Armorer passive skills allow you to battle to your heart's content without a worry. If you value survival and fun above all, go with Guardian Shield, which provides cover that you can bring anywhere. It also knocks back approaching enemies. Passive skills Boost and Ghost Helm greatly increase your sprinting speed and defense respectively, allowing you to loot your way across the map swiftly and efficiently. If you get defeated in a match and become a prankster ghost, don't fret. Take advantage of the special skills you gain, Bomb, Scan, and Shield, to give your teammates more opportunities. Keep in mind that these skills will gradually become available on different maps at different times. Choose whatever fits your playstyle. This mode has 2 main theme areas, Wraithmore Mansion and the Rock Review. Head straight for Wraithmore Mansion if you love battles. Open ghost crates to expose the locations of all nearby enemies. Speaking of supplies, there's a magic mirror on the first floor with tons of treasures sealed inside, making it a highly contested target. If you'd rather explore the new version in peace, head for the haunted residential area, where the scaredy ghosts gather to avoid intense confrontations. This update introduces a new vehicle, the Magic Broom. It seats 2 players and has a dash that's great for pursuing enemies. The broom's portability and flexibility is also useful for quickly scouring the area for supply. Plus, it has a powerful sweep that can knock enemies away. There's a lot more ghostly content for you to experience. For more information, be sure to check the official patch notes in the game wiki. Nightfall marks the beginning of your adventure. That sums up most of V4.0's themed updates. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Finding it hard to fight back against enemies? Is reloading not realistic enough? Is it affecting your battle experience? Does your motorcycle have a busted tire? Did you reach Conqueror tier and have nothing else to do? If any of these are relatable, then don't miss this video. Let's check out the various upgrades in PUBG Mobile V4.0. This version introduces a brand new weapon, the Mortar. It uses a special explosive ammo and deals tons of damage to enemies. It's great at applying pressure. The Mortar has 2 firing modes. Quick Strike mode lets you aim directly at enemies. Precise Target mode lets you strike areas beyond your field of view for amazing long-range coverage. Whether it's fighting back or providing long-range support, the mortar is an excellent tactical choice. We have also revamped reloading to provide even greater realism. To put it simply, if you reload your weapon before it's empty, you'll keep a round in the chamber. So after reloading, that means you'll have an extra shot available to you. We've also improved the idle and reload animations for empty pistols to keep you more immersed than ever. We've added crosshair style switching for the 4X scope. You can easily switch between them as you like. May you never miss your shots again. Now, when you burst your motorcycle's tire, you can easily swap it out for a new one. We've also improved the stability of mounted firing on two-wheel vehicles. Ride smoothly and fire with more precision than ever. Boats also get an upgrade. They travel through the water much smoother than before. Enjoy the improved naval warfare. These vehicle updates are sure to make matches even more exciting. Apart from battle-related improvements, Erangel's Lipovka has a new relaxation area. Take a break from the fighting and come here to gear up with supplies. Or relax for a bit on the swings and Ferris wheel. Get comfy on the battleground. C9S26 is here. Check out the new ACE-exclusive Path of Honor and rewards. We've improved tier objectives and added rewards for reaching the highest tier in the previous season. New legendary firearm is here. Challenge the brand new firearm combat power system. Your glorious journey begins. For more information, be sure to check the official patch notes in the game wiki. That's a brief overview of V4.0's classic mode updates. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Get to know version 4.0 in 3 minutes. No treats? Then beware of tricks. The new spooky Soiree version is here. Let's check out what's new. This version's themed gameplay will be available on Erangel, Livik, and Rondo. The main themed area is Wraithmore Mansion. Also, 2 performing dead concerts will take place on the map. Wraithmore Mansion contains tons of interactive content, including the Soulbind Mirror, Scaredy Ghosts, Phantom Treasure, and more for you to discover. This version's ghost gameplay consists of Ghosty, a ghost who accompanies you throughout the match, and Prankster Ghosts, which you become if you get knocked out. Ghosty has main and passive skills. Main skill, Floating Balloon. Passive skill, Boost. Passive skill, Ghost Helm. Passive skill, Armorer. Passive skill, Scan. Main skill, Guardian Shield. Passive skill, Heal. Prankster Ghosts allow players who get eliminated to turn into ghosts for a short time and use skills to disrupt the match. Spook, Bomb, and Shield. The themed vehicle this time is a magic broom. And there are tons more mysterious gameplay and collabs with famous celebs for you to look forward to. Doesn't pranking sound more fun than haunting? Have a spooktacular spooky soiree. In this version, you'll also get the chance to play a new thrilling pursuit and escape game mode, Unfail. In this mode, you'll either join the survivors or become the predator, and experience the thrilling battle between them that ensues. It really gets your heart rate up, so beware unless you're bold. In classic mode, Erangel's Lipovka has been updated. There's a new mortar weapon, realistic reloading mechanics, and pistol idle animations. What's more, Cycle 9 Season 26 begins on September 11th, along with the new Firearm Combat Power System, Path of Glory, and Weekend Joy. Home will introduce the new Lunar Castle style, a treasure hunt minigame, home competition, and home-style voting event. Perhaps most exciting of all is that World of Wonder 1.0 is officially here, bringing full creator access to all players. Also included are the new World of Wonder Pass and World of Wonder gifts in an effort to create a win-win ecosystem. Metro Royale Chapter 28 has begun, and you can now challenge your friends to a 1v1. We've also added Ghost Crates. And that's not all. Version 4.0 still has more gameplay on the way, so stay tuned for future in-game announcements. See you next time.
Reaching a total prize pool worth $10 million. Become a top creator for a chance to win $200,000. Everyone has a chance. Hi everyone, I'm XL. The two most frequently asked questions I've received have been when World of Wonder would release after having been in beta for so long, and when we'd grant full creator access to players so they could realize their unique ideas. Today, I've come with the answers that everyone has been waiting for. I'm happy to announce that World of Wonder 1.0 officially launches in the next version. In World of Wonder 1.0 will significantly boost creator access, letting more players join in creating. Of course, we've also prepared plenty of rewards. World of Wonder cash incentives have increased yet again, reaching a total prize pool worth $10 million. Become a top creator for a chance to win $200,000. Everyone has a chance. In 2025, we anticipate over 100,000 creators receiving incentive earnings. WoW currently boasts over 4.4 million maps. WoW maps have hosted over 33 billion matches. World of Wonder has over 1,000 dedicated influencers, bringing its maps over 1 billion views per version. If you'd like to become a WoW ambassador as well, you can join the Next Star program for smaller influencers for a chance to win a share of the $6 million cash prize pool. Some creators may wonder, my creation skills aren't really up to par right now. Will I still get the chance to receive earnings? Rest assured, everyone has a chance in the World of Wonder incentive program. Every step of the creation process counts. A lot of rookies tell me, XL, I don't know how to take the first step, or I lack inspiration. How do I even start? In World of Wonder 1.0, we'll gradually make the Smart Assistant feature more widely available. When you don't know how to get started or lack inspiration, you can turn to the Smart Assistant for help. Some creators wonder, World of Wonder looks difficult, and I know nothing about coding. Does this mean my maps will never turn out good? Here, I'd like to recommend our visual programming tool. Through simple configurations and logical calculations, you can design something truly unique without knowing anything about coding. It's sure to take your abilities to the next level. World of Wonder is also an open ecosystem that connects players around the world. For example, we're working with the Prime Minister's Office of Pakistan and collaborating with over 50 global universities to help students gain professional game development skills while discovering new career paths. We are also working with the United Nations to promote environmental and public welfare awareness. We welcome global brands, artists, celebrities, influencers, and map creators of all kinds to join the World of Wonder ecosystem. If you're interested in collaborating with World of Wonder or have any suggestions for us, feel free to contact us through official customer service.
Hi everyone, I'm JY. Now that World of Wonder 1.0 has launched, we intend to work with everyone to establish a mutually beneficial ecosystem for the mode. Players often complain that World of Wonder lacks challenges and rewards. In order to meet everyone's expectations, we're introducing the World Pass system in World of Wonder 1.0. By playing World of Wonder content and completing missions, players can earn points and get tons of rewards for free. Upgrading the pass also unlocks lots of customizations and exclusive perks. A certain portion of the earnings we receive from the pass will be invested into the World of Wonder incentive program, increasing our cash prize pool to give back to each contributor in the World of Wonder ecosystem. At the same time, we hope every talented creator's fantastic ideas will be worthy of praise and attention. In World of Wonder 1.0, the new gifting system builds a bridge between creators and players. Fans can gift special World of Wonder gifts to instantly give the creator a like for their creativity. These gifts increase creativity points, which can be used to unlock even cooler custom appearances and are displayed on the creativity points ranking. Top creators on the ranking stand to receive tons of cash rewards. All in-game cash earnings will be stored in the co-creation wallet for clarity and transparency. We've added a strict identity verification process to ensure the security of every transaction. We support withdrawals in the vast majority of countries and regions worldwide, allowing you to turn your creations into real-life earnings, no matter where you're located. World of Wonder 1.0 marks a new beginning. We hope all players with creative ideas are able to become game developers.
We will continue working on this mutually beneficial ecosystem so that all outstanding creators are well compensated. May all creators march into the future together with World of Wonder.
May all creators march into the future together with World of Wonder. Thank you.
I just need a spot, light in the dark. I got a 2-chambered heart, too. Don't always listen when you talk. We was wishing upon a start.
I've just landed. Real enough that this battleground will remember.
I'm bringing the static. She see the world expect I follow with my soul connect. Hey, in a storm, I still come aiming, I pressure and rain. Whoa. No fear, every step I claim, face strong, I don't think I change. Staying in my lane.
내가 선택한 플레이. 정해진 룰은 없어. 내가 정해. 그게 바로 G-Dragon. Battleground.
Why?
That's the reason why.
Higher frame rate options available? Download PUBG Mobile version 4.0 for the smoothest victories.
The first ultimate set with removable outwear, Nixon Sinistra, is now available. The first advanced upgradable firearm with sound effects, Nixon Rose AUG, has arrived. It comes with an exclusive Inspect emote. Help you stand out on the battleground. Plus, a cool elimination broadcast, elimination effect, and loot crate to turn eyes on the battleground. The matching Resonant Nell glider is sure to make a stunning entrance in battle. Equip the Nixon Sinistra set and battle in style. World of Wonder Pass and gifting incentives. Welcome to World of Wonder 1.0. Let your creativity run wild. The new World of Wonder Pass is here. Complete missions by playing World of Wonder content to earn points. Get creation promotion cards, World of Wonder rune cards, avatar frames, limited time firearm finishes, and more for free. Plus, upgrade to the Elite Pass, originally worth 480 UC for just 299 UC. Unlock tons of customization options, new outfits, and exclusive perks. Through gifting incentives, you can send World of Wonder exclusive gifts to creators. Creators gain creativity points by receiving gifts. Not only can you unlock cooler custom items, but you can also win huge cash rewards by reaching the top of the creativity points ranking. All cash rewards can be viewed and withdrawn from the co-creation wallet. World of Wonder Pass and gifting incentives rewards will also be partly invested into the World of Wonder incentive program to give back to every contributor in the World of Wonder ecosystem.
New RP A15 is here. Level 100 Mythic Custom Color Male Outfit is here. Get rewards worth up to 80,000 UC. Come take a look. New Mythic Custom Color Male Outfit. Freely change colors to show off your own unique style. New upgraded Candied Haunter MP7 is here, along with tons of firearm finishes, as well as the Skeleton Trail UTV vehicle finish. Tons more items await. Get all of the above with just 720 UC and reaching the corresponding levels. Upgrade to Elite Pass Plus for even more surprises. Exclusive avatar frame, victory dance, collectible statue, and weekly 50% bonus rating points. And you can get all 720 UC back. Event period 2025 9/11 at 2 o'clock, 2025 11/10 at 23:59. UTC +0. Unlock RP A15 now.
PUBG Mobile.
Let's get it. Ready to kill them, be my best mate. Those cookies up as up, hit the ground. Pretty soul, but my blood runs high. Red dot, baby, like a predator outside. The ladder got to sex, no matter what. No, safe zones are closing, no time left behind. No, my ever phone singing like a battle cry. Adrenaline takes to feel right. We must one, and eyes on the bonus score. We must one, let's go. Ready to get a be my best mate. Ready to get a be my best mate. Ready to get a be my best mate. Ready to get a be my best mate.
Cooking like a glitter, winner, chicken dinner. Moving like a thriller, winner, chicken dinner. Graduate chicken egg, be my best mate. Graduate chicken egg, be my bestie.
Crazy chicken day, be my best mate.
The first ultimate set with removable outwear, Nixon Sinistra, is now available. The first advanced upgradable firearm with sound effects, Nixon Rose AUG, has arrived. It comes with an exclusive Inspect emote. To help you stand out on the battleground. Plus, a cool elimination broadcast, elimination effect, and loot crate to turn eyes on the battleground. The matching Resonant Nell glider is sure to make a stunning entrance in battle. Equip the Nixon Sinistra set and battle in style.
Welcome to day number 2 of our second Super Weekend here at the 2025 PUBG Mobile Super League Southeast Asia Fall. I'm your host, FaZe, and today the Smash Rule is on. The bar point has been set at 97 points here, and obviously that's going to be where every team laid their eyes on, trying to breach through and then close it all out with a winner chicken dinner. Right now, I'm joined here by the representative from BIGETRON by Vitality's Kent, as well as John, our translator here. Welcome you two on board. All right then, so without further ado, let's jump into our first question here. Kent, BTR is now leading with 77 points, right? And now you guys setting the bar at 97, as I've already mentioned here. So what changes and preparations, that have made the biggest difference this time around?
Oke, dengan hari ini bermulanya Smash Rule dan kamu meletakkan target yang sangat tinggi yaitu 97 poin. Ya, sejauh ini apa perubahan yang paling besar ataupun ya persiapan paling besar yang telah terjadi lah buat pasukan BIGETRON by Vitality?
Yang kita rasa sebagai coaching staff, kita lihat pemainnya banyak step up secara individual. Sebelum kita mulai season ini, kita percaya bahwa mereka memiliki kemampuan untuk jadi juara. Jadi hari ini atau kemarin kita lihat pemain banyak stepping up dari individual performance. Jadi I'm very proud of them.
Okay, so basically before the season start, we believe that this individual have potential to become a champion. And if we take a look back yesterday or maybe today, all the players already improved individually. Alright, so far I'm pretty proud of them.
I see. That's very lovely to hear. We also get a point about your prowess for them either as well. But with that being said, that's a major roster revamp from last season, right? So how do you think the team's comp or maybe even the dynamics differs, when compared to before?
Oke, dengan perubahan roster yang besar season ini, menurut kamu sendiri apa ya bisa dibilang dynamic team saat ini dibandingkan dengan sebelumnya?
Untuk musim ini sih mungkin banyak pertanyaan sih kenapa kita ada pergantian roster. Mungkin banyak yang pengen tahu juga kenapa. Cuman banyak hal yang nggak bisa kita jelasin di sini. Cuman perbedaan paling besar ya pasti di bagaimana tim bisa saling interaksi satu sama lain di tim dynamics-nya. Gimana mereka bisa saling nguatin satu sama lain juga. Ini kan perpaduan antara veteran dan juga anak-anak muda. Jadi ada balance di situ dan mudah-mudahan balance itu yang kita cari sebelumnya, yang tidak ada di tim sebelumnya, itu bisa kita dapetin season ini dan bisa buat kita jadi juara.
So basically, a lot of people keep asking or keep question why we change a lot of times about the rosters and everything. But then I believe with the dynamics that I try to build around the team, which is from a veteran player and a rising talent. So I believe that is the missing part that we've been finding for so long. So I believe that this season we already found the missing puzzle, and hopefully we can be a champion team.
I love that answers, obviously here, and that's been working well for BIGETRON so far, right? So back to your answers before, Kent, you mentioned that you're really proud of the boys, right? So as a lovely coach, is there any specific areas that the boy have improved the most that makes you personally proud about them?
Ya, sempat tadi kamu bilang kamu bangga sama anak-anak. Bisa ceritain lebih spesifik nggak di area mana ataupun improvement apa yang dilakukan oleh anak-anak yang membuatkan kamu bangga?
Mungkin value yang mereka pegang sekarang ya di luar game juga ada disiplin, komitmen, external faktor kita minimalisir sebanyak mungkin. Jadi komitmen mereka terhadap turnamen ini tuh sangat luar biasa. Menurut gua itu adalah hal yang sangat membanggakan sebagai pelatih karena kita nggak harus dorong pemainnya, mereka sudah mendorong dirinya untuk jadi lebih baik setiap harinya.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest factor is basically the value outside the game. Whatever players try to show to us, like basically, whenever we as a coaching staff, we don't have to push them to become a better player. They already push themselves by doing their themselves. So I think as a coach, I'm pretty proud about it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to see how they grow.
I see, the self-motivations, right? Okay, that's lovely. Okay, Ken, with today's match rule, how many games do you think it will take, for the things to get wrapped up?
Oke, dengan hari ini Smash Rule, menurut kamu sendiri perkiraan berapa game bakal kelar hari ini?
Pasti banyak orang termasuk Bang Jangs juga pasti pengennya cepet kan. Cuman untuk roster kami, semakin banyak game yang kita mainkan, semakin berkembang kami sebagai tim juga. Jadi berapapun gamenya kami harap kami bisa improve setiap game-nya.
Yeah, I think a lot of people here wanted the game end fast, including the translator as well.
Okay.
But then, me as my team or me as a coach, I believe that the more games that we play, there's a lot of improvement that we can we can get. So I think we don't really care about the game. We're just gonna maximize all the games, and then we try to be better every single game.
I see. Make the most out of the situations, right? That's great to hear then. All right, then this is the final questions now. Kent, do you have any additional words that you would like to send to the teams or maybe to all the BTR fans?
Oke, terakhir kata-kata buat mungkin ada tim-tim yang bermain ataupun buat fans-fans BTR sendiri.
Oke, buat tim-tim lain sih nggak ada. Paling buat fans, saat pertama kita bentuk tim ini mungkin banyak pertanyaan, banyak keraguan juga dari kalian. Cuman kita udah nunjukin kemarin kalau misalnya kita mampu dan layak untuk jadi juara. Meskipun banyak hinaan yang datang, tim ini nggak akan mudah untuk jatuh. Dan gue sebagai pelatih mewakili pemain, setiap game yang kami mainkan itu untuk kalian. Jadi kami berharap support kalian, dukungan kalian akan selalu ada di setiap game yang akan kami jalani, apapun hasilnya.
To those fans out there, basically, I think a lot of you guys keep question why we change roster, or maybe you guys sometimes throw those hate comment towards us. But one thing I can tell you for sure that we can't be destroyed with those hate comments. And you need to remember that all the games that we play for you, and we really hope that you can support, you can pray for us, and yeah, we already showed to you from yesterday that we can be a champion team with that kind of performance. So just keep praying for us.
I see. That is a loud and clear message here. Thank you very much, BTR's Kent, as well as John, our translator here. We would like to send you guys to the very intensive day number 2 of our second Super Weekend here at the 2025 PMSL Southeast Asia Fall.
Welcome, ladies and gents, as we bring you into the Super Sunday Run where we're implementing Smash rules. And of course, it's your boy here, Contra, together alongside with Choo Choo to bring you the entire course of the story for today. Choo, we've heard it from Ken, and that was quite an insightful interview that we've just had.
It's so difficult for Ken not to speak in English. He's trying to hold it back. We can see his face like, oh shoot, I did speak a bit of English by the end of the day anyhow. But when it comes to Coach Ken, I love his interview so much. It's so... There's such a deep meaning coming out, even the last word towards the message of all the supporters out there. No matter what, we try doing our best for all the teams out there. I think he's speaking for not just for BTR, but for all the teams out there. They're playing not just for themselves, but for you guys that are supporting from your, whatever you guys watching from as well. And speaking of which, coming up from Coach Ken, I love the fact he gave the insight regarding the roster of the teams. He's trying to build something new. And one thing that I noticed is working out quite right regarding rookie rising players as well as the veteran and seasoned, just like Zaxi. And they shared in a common ground of the love of PUBG Mobile, of course, but to find that complete strategy coming up from very seasoned, and we're talking about very seasoned as in OG, back in PMCO days, to as all the new rising talents. But before we get into more regarding the game, here comes what you guys been missing all this while. Let's go for the format here.
That's right. Of course, we got a whopping 200K on the line to get alongside with the usual distributional system where Chicken Dinner rewards them with 10 points and any other position will be a little lower, so they fight for those eliminations. So we're already by the end of our final Super Weekend, and what's left after this is going to be the grand finals happening over the span of the next weekend. So you don't want to miss all the action. And of course, this is high time that the teams prove themselves worthy to be within the top 16 by the end of all the points being gathered up. And of course, as per the schedules as well as the stages that we've gone through, we've already completed all the group stages. Now we're down to the final Smash rule for the Super Weekend. So it is all down to this very moment to see who qualifies for the finals.
And the Smasher will also be implemented in Grand Finals, so the Smasher will be here to stay. What's the difference between Super Weekend and Grand Finals? The normal Super Weekend will contribute towards the points for the Grand Finals, and the maximum of a Grand Finals maps will be also 8 maps in the day 3. Last day for 3 days of Grand Finals. In day 3, we will have the chicken dinner smash implemented as well. So it depends on the team whether they can make it through, and it's going to be a huge advantage, especially when it comes to this Super Weekend for their placement points as well. But we want to reintroduce for the teams that's qualified for their Super Weekend. This is the time for them to shine. If you guys haven't seen it yesterday, the team's in trouble right now and in danger zone. That's going to be the Xaviers, GLU, FaZe Clan, or perhaps maybe even Alter Ego. Because I'm talking about this right now because there's a high chance if they smash it quite early for BTR, they might not be in the Grand Finals, and we have to say goodbye for this, especially 3 teams, the Xaviers, GLU, and FaZe Clan.
That's right. And of course, we take a very close look into the Super Weekend rankings throughout week 1. And by the end of the day, we will also update it once again, depending on where these teams have been placed by the end of the run. So right now, as it stands, it's going to be Team Flash with that total of 15 points since they were number 1 last week. As we do see a little signs of struggle, but I would still fairly say that Team Flash would still be able to make it into the Grand Finals. Whereas the names that you pointed out earlier, they've been having some tough signs. Talent, they're not playing this weekend as well. They'll be watching very closely to see whether if they could still make the cut, while other teams such as XSP, 7-9, and NST, AZ, and the rest that follows, they did not manage to make qualification into 2 weekends. Therefore, they did not make the cut into the Grand Finals. Whereas MXG, they do stand a chance alongside with 7-9 into this very last hurdle. So hopefully, they'll get to have a little bit more airtime depending on how well BTR or eArena performs.
Now, for the teams at the very bottom, especially for Talon, also they are praying, despite they're not playing this Super Weekend, because MXG, the Vikings, as well as Sam9 has been performing quite brilliantly when it comes to this Super Weekend as well, especially coming out from MXG. With MXG, if they manage to get into top 5, then unfortunately Talon will have to say goodbye, including the teams when it comes to the league rank points. They have less than 4 points. They should be scared right now. If any consolation, they still have a shot at winning or even getting into the Grand Finals, yeah? So we gotta wait and see whether these bottom teams that have their debut in this Super Weekend this week can actually make it smash for their dream, or will they actually get the points and also the slot instead. Well, on the second page, these Xaviers, they are in trouble. If they score only 2 points, last week they scored 2 points as well. It's not going to be enough for them to get into the Grand Final. Same goes for FaZe Clan and GLU. They need to get out from this trench.
True enough. And, you know, what could basically change their fate will be to secure perhaps 1 chicken dinner or even high-flying rounds. When speaking of high-flying rounds, BTR had a plenty moving into the rounds of Rondo as well as Wrangle, and they've really shown really strong strides. Like what BTR Ken has mentioned earlier in the interview, like that they finally found that kind of formula when you have that fair share balance of experience as well as firepower coming from the prodigies, and they're not holding anything back right now. They're looking to be growing every step of the way.
But one thing that interests me during the interview by Coach Ken, he didn't mention there are things that he couldn't actually say it, on stage or during live. There's too much to break it down. So I assume it's not really simple to actually break down what really happened behind the scene. I guess they have some internal conflict as well between themselves they have to resolve. And for today, for them to finally manage to find the perfect synchronization and the perfect chemistry between the team, hopefully they can actually carry it out today as well, because that's what they will need here right now. For eArena, on the other hand, another team that's never failed to disappoint when it comes to Super Weekend. Can they catch up to BTR? They open up such a big margin and stretch it out between the points of BTR and eArena yesterday. Another team they should focus as well for today, should be careful about, it's going to be Team Secret. This is going to be the team that's been underrated so much before this.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And to take a look at how much improvements they've been able to get throughout the span of the week. And right now, we're looking at the kind of margins that these teams will have to acquire in order to reach that smash point of 97. So right now, we're looking at a 33 point for eArena. Meanwhile, BTR being the winningest team, they just need to secure maybe a very big chicken dinner that will be able to close the gap of 20. And you can definitely see that from the point of TODAK, it is still very much possible. Homeboys definitely need a little bit more work because that's going to be a 60-pointer margin. So with a possibility of a total of 8 games, I think it still could be anyone's grasp, depending on how well the top 3 teams perform.
Yeah, heavily on the top 3 teams, especially when it goes to Rondo. Now, with 20 points only on the side of BTR, it's not impossible. If they don't get a chicken, it's still fine. Because Rondo is the map. They will try to aim for those eliminations. With the recall tower will be also activated, as well as the EMP zone here. So for the teams that the closest one to get into the Smash rule implemented or activated, it's going to be BTR right now. And for the side of eArena, it's slightly a bit further compared to BTR. Of course, they are second place. Now, the top 3 teams for this first map, I think high chance they're going to go all out aggressive here right now. But if they're being reckless, they're also at the bottom team that we talked about before. They're in danger zone and might jeopardize even their grand final slot. So they might actually fight against each other and cancel each other out too early on, depending on who actually get it better and best out of them when it comes to those fights.
And of course, when we talk about performance, look no further than TECNO's POVA Ultra 7, and they absolutely give you the very best that you can actually get in the market right now, since it has the 1.5K AMOLED screen, 144 hertz of refresh rate, and of course long battery life with supercharge, where you could even opt to go wireless as well, so you can game all day long with the TECNO POVA 7 Ultra. So make sure you guys check that out, and you can get yourselves plenty of chicken dinners alongside your friends with this ultra gadget in your hands.
And when it comes to business, yeah, I'm going to focus towards more at the very bottom team, because if they don't make it, they will actually lose the grand final slot here. But on your side, you're going to go for the top 2 teams. I'm going for the bottom teams instead. Do you think they can actually do it for BTR? They cannot get cancelled quite early. If they got eliminated early on in the second place eArena, can steal away those points.
Yeah, the reason why I vote for the top 2 teams is to make things a little bit more exciting moving from game 2 onwards, where, you know, when you're looking at a team almost at the brink of smashing the entire course of the day, then it will really let the rest of the pack have a sure focus of making sure that they do not do any mistakes, and at the same time put bigger targets on the back of both eArena as well as BIGETRON by Vitality. And you can already see the tone today is a whole lot more different as compared to what we've seen from yesterday.
But before we get into the start of the day, for you guys who want to know why is it not shown if you go to 8 maps for the entire day here? Because that map will be selected by the top teams. Now, to break it down, for the teams after map number 6 finished off, whoever's actually at number 1 spot will pick what map will be played in match 7. And after match 7, whoever at number 1 spot will get to pick which map we get to play at map 8. Interesting when it comes to the overall rankings, how it will impact even what kind of map they'll be playing. If we ended up with Rondo,
that will be interesting. Very, very interesting, because that allows them to take even more points. But I believe that if you're going to be that number 1 team, you're looking at either Erangel or even Miramar, because you're looking at other teams to not catch up to your current tempo if you're holding to that number 1 spot. And of course, with them having that favor, they're more confident to actually close things out. But we'll see how that one plays out, as we've got less than 10 seconds before we hit right into our very first game. So sit back, relax, and enjoy what's to come here in the PUBG Mobile Super League Southeast Asia.
That's it. This is going to be the last Rondo we're looking at. Or maybe not. It depends on what kind of map we're going to play by end of today. Anyhow, if it goes to map number 8 or 7. But it's probably high chance we're going to see the last Rondo map. I agree with you, Contra. When it comes to, if the top teams. But at the same time, it also gives them a bit more wiggle room if we ended up with Rondo here today as well, because of the recall tower. So
yeah,
I guess we have to wait and see whether we go there or not, because right now all eyes set onto BTR and eArena. A lot of teams, especially at the very bottom, teams such as GLU, FaZe Clan and the Xavier will try to shut them down. I don't know, will they actually target them way early on and having some hot drops? But if things didn't turn out as they hope it will be, yes, you can hot drop a team if you want to target to finish them off straight away like number 1 and number 2 team. But can you win the fight against them?
Yeah, easily that could be backfired. And when we talk about fights, we have a plenty. And to kick things off, it's going to be TODAK with that already dealing down those members coming from Hill Esports. He secures that very quickly. That's going to be the first blood taken by the Malaysian team. Kenny holding down the line, and there is a big swing coming from 9 to take another member down. Hill Esports, they crumble one after another, but I believe there's still one member remaining for them to go in for the recall.
The last player of Hill nowhere near to be seen. I assume he's going to be around the tower. 3 touch. Lizzie found himself vehicle. Hopefully he don't get shot when he's trying to find his tower. I mean, great, yeah, vehicle, but the engine noise will attract. Look at that. He start being pinned down by these teams. But we're going to have sort of a Hongshan Dangqing circle. If it's Hongshan, it's going to be very interesting. But if it's going to be in between, we had this sort of circle before on the outskirts of Yulin where those high ground, there's one particular high mountain. That's going to be probably the last few circle center. But on the side of Homebois MAQNA Esports, it's going to be against Vampires. It's going to be the number 5 team versus team number 10.
Ooh, Kim, bring the brand new weapon into play, as this could be the map exclusive with the JS7. Now going for a quick swing, Lazarus. Almost missing the mark right there, as Kim is actually following suit to trace where is he actually going instead. And he's just going to try to bring the fight towards the members of Vampire Esports, but backup has arrived in the form of Huey. So now it's 2 versus 1. Kim, he vaults over the window in the worst of moments, so he was going to be ending up with those members picking it up. Wow! Woo! Then take out MXG.
Mix a gang, Macaris. It's going to be trio for all these fights. They're leaving one man behind just for the sake of the recall option. But for GLU, they can afford to lose here as well. They need those points. They need to at least get some eliminations. But Xbox, aside of GLU right now, they are more contributing points to its Mix a Gang instead of getting points for themselves. And Mix a Gang might actually score another, as Gatslow finished them off with a very low amount of bullet remaining, but at least any consolation, he got himself an exchange of rifles on the inside of the death box. So back to his side of GLU. We do know there's going to be some recalls going on, but GLU, it just shows their firepower is not there yet. They need those points, and they are very scattered. It's going to be eArena next against another GLU member, Stickley.
Thickly by the stairwells, but he's going to be shredded apart with too many overwhelming members of eArena. It's so unfortunate because you saw from that overview that there was a tower nearby, but he could not even reach out because eArena is present at this current point in time. So it's really down to KF, and thankfully KF is going to have a lot of wiggle room, but from the minimap, I don't see any recall points around this vicinity. So he's got to really wait for the right moment to put his teammates back online.
He has to be extra careful as well. There's a lot of pressure on KF right now. If he goes down, that's going to be it. Might as well loot up if in case he needs to take the blue zone for a bit after stage 2 hits. But for the side of GLU, that's going to be a tough start for them. But at least there's nobody around for the side of the last member of GLU, but back to his Homebois MAQNA. They managed to reset as a 4 despite they lost a couple of members early on. That's going to be around Muhopan, where we do have Homebois MAQNA, VOIN, and there's one more team around there, and it's probably going to be one TODAK player.
Oh, this is definitely going to be a little bit more interesting with the involvement of TODAK. But for now, seems like it's going to be some fair exchange, but it's still going to be a full Sentry members versus 2 right now. VOIN Esports holding by the corner of the walls, and they get the first contact, but not quite enough. Razak instantly getting touched. Well, it's going to be Zeta from the off angle over the top side of the roof in order to form an exchange, and he's already bringing it down to a 1v1.
Oh, Zeta, finish off. Here comes another one. 1v1 between a round ring around the Rosie. They're going to go in circles, and Zeta won with that shotgun. And it's going to be 3 points contributed to it. So VOIN Esports. And part of them actually stays in the blue zone just in case things didn't work out for them. But for Homebois, MAQNA immediately going for the recall. Around Kunta, a bit far when it comes to the circle. I mean, I kind of get why he has to do that far from the rest, just in case there's a third party coming up soon. But for Homebois, MAQNA, despite they lost those skirmish, it's still going to be okay. GLU managed to reset themselves again and going for another fight. And this is going to be only KF right now. The rest of the teams seems to be landing down here. But if eArena shoot them down immediately, GLU, they might not end up with the points. So they have to win this fight no matter what.
Oh, he missed his moment, and just with that grenade, it knocks down KF. Thankfully, KF did manage to bring back a member, so it's not down and out just yet. Sakura is holding this position, and Z2 also being brought back. So eArena, they're really on a mission to eliminate those members of Glue, but it's only down to Noel at the moment.
Noel in the center with, that JS7 will not last him long enough. He's solo against the rest of eArena. But Xbox is Stickley coming out from behind. Here comes the Nate flying over, but for eArena, they need to heal themselves back up. It's a blue zone. Start to chip down a bit of their HP. It sounds very minute, but at the same time, it will still hurt them if Sakura don't reset himself. But Stickley managed to get one shot, beautiful one from a far-off angle. Will he go for the execution? It's down to TODAK and Sakura to actually go and save NC2. We do have Mixer Gang versus BTR next. The fight between these two teams still unfolding as TODAK will cook the net, cancel it out, go for a CQC, perhaps UMP versus S12K. We've seen this happen before. It's down to the pilot of the weaponry to do the work. But Xbox spotted out Sakura. What a reflex and what a big swing.
Now, just across the wall, Xbox. He needs to heal up, but take a look at that. That's a tag over on TODAK. He's not able to heal himself in the tick of the moment. Stickley also teaming alongside in order to bring Glue Squad back in order. And just like that, eArena, they got overwhelmed and they kind of underestimated the sheer firepower. And right now, Alter Ego goes toe-to-toe against FaZe Clan.
Chopper will try to stop Rosemary Chaco as well. Both actually cooking up the nade coming over towards the side of the corner. But the circle strings around Yulin. It's going to be very similar to yesterday's circle as well. So everybody will try to fight for those high ground. Back to the side of Alter Ego. Snape is down as well. Chopper managed to finish him off. Where's the last member? Did he manage to go for the recall tower yet or not? I think it's a bit far for the last play of Alter Ego. It's probably just going to recall the rest of them once they got executed here. But for the rest of FaZe Clan, they will get the reset. They will go for the revival. And that's going to be another point. 2 points translated into the overall rankings later on for FaZe Clan right now.
Luana just reached the recall point, and he's going to be able to bring them back to life. So far, 3 points gained from the side of Alter Ego. I believe they will once again going for the challenge, but they're going to be a little far off into Neox Factory instead, just to secure a couple of loot before they rejoin with the Cavalry, while the rest of Vampire Esports are playing from the corners of Hongshan. As we can see from the minimap, there's a couple of teams occupying that facility already, but they still managing to land a tap over onto the member 7-9 Mika on the ground. And there's also members from the side of the Xavier just across the corner as they're going toe-to-toe right now. Red Bull across the corner tries to trade right back as the rest of the Xavier, they're hovering across multiple compounds to hold out.
Mix again. I'm trying to count how many players here for side of MXG. Do they have the 4th member ready up towards the recall tower in case things didn't turn out well? It's going to be Vampires taking on Gat Slow as well. They're stealing those points away from afar. Vampires. Where those shots came from, I think it's just right across the other side. There's a recall tower nearby for BTI as well in case they need it for Vampires rushing in. But for Hill, they're starting to move. Well, on the side of MXG, they managed to reset, but the elimination coming up from MXG, it's humongous already. 8 so far secured.
Yeah, they've been doing a massive duty to really take on all these players, and at the very same time, they've been able to also get those efficient recalls through, and now back in shape. But a lot of these teams right now are tanking the blue zone just to get themselves back as a full unit, while Jiki having a little bit of a choke point setup alongside with the rest of Team Secret. You can already see that his buggy has already been shredded out with one tire being popped. But hey, Doki doesn't mind that, so long as he can secure even more points up against TODAK. Now that's a little strike over onto the top 4 teams as they are going neck to neck right now. Back and forth as we see Zeras this time being pinned down.
It's quite concerning. They are playing inside of the blue zone for the longest time for both Team Secret and TODAK. With Team Secret, a lot at stake here if they're not being careful because they're working as a 4. If you have a 4 inside of the blue zone and you're fighting against an entire crew of another team, there's a high chance you get eliminated very quickly. And for Team Secret, there's going to be everything on the line here right now. We have plenty of teams in the blue zone. Might as well make the whole map blue zone right now. And sort of finish off Zeros. There's going to be it. TODAK down to 2 players on the side of Team Secret. They're not having so much either. Down to 3 right now. 9 got their elevations, but it's going to be GK actually got those points away. GK securing it for the win on the side of Team Secret. Now the next option, they have to go for the recall tower to recall back Zeros and reset back as a 4.
And that's huge news for the side of Team Secret. They can leapfrog against TODAK and secure even further points. And now they will be chasing up against eArena. That form of back and forth definitely was necessary when you have a team that's been racing up against you. TODAK now only sorts himself out with 5 points. While we take a glance back over the side of BTR, they've been holding this high mountain with Planet at the top. Vampire Esports, I don't think they get to move too far off because of the presence of BTR.
They barely got enough gears here. Quite concerning. Vaxi with level 1 almost shredded almost entirely his Vez as well. I do hope they have enough to sustain themselves if they opt out for those high grounds here.
I hope so too.
BTR, they're playing a very dangerous game. They barely got enough ammunition too.
Yeah, and if that zone actually is not covered in the upcoming phase, then it could be very troublesome for them to even climb downwards. Meanwhile, FaZe Clan having a couple of bombardments sent their way. This team so far fighting for their lives in this tournament. 3 points gained alongside with BLUG. So it pretty much neutralizes the stance once again with BLUG still having a significant small gap against the rest of FaZe Clan. So they will have to fight their way out if they really want to leapfrog ahead. Hill's doing okay, but they have not found any points so far. Sandline with 31 points. They know that they are not comfortable enough because there's so many other teams that could just overtake them on each respective round. So when we're taking a look at 6 all the way to 12, you probably will imagine it to shift depending on who really gains the big form. But meanwhile, BTR's here.
This is not great. Vampires, they try to recall the rest of them and spotted out by Razy on top. Gooey, last member here. Vampires in trouble. That recall got cancelled straight away. And I don't know what Razy plans to do. I don't think he wants to go for fights. He probably just relay information and fitting off for the team for the infos. He didn't have any secondary weapon. He got barely enough ammunition as well with his JS7. I don't think he got any plans other than just giving and fitting off where the position of all the other teams is passing by here. Well, to the side of Vampires, they couldn't actually go for the recall. This is huge and big impact on the side of the lineup. While we do have eArena, seems to be having some trouble against MXG as well. Joker might get beaten now and secure those elimination, but there's going to be counter-fired from the cover fire and C2, and Sakura just arrived.
Only down to Macaris right now, and it's so difficult for him to even consider a save because eArena, they're out there on the field. They don't really have those vision, but a good toss of grenade clips over onto Sakura. Not quite enough to actually bring him down to less than 50%, but that allows eArena to at least go for that reset. MXG, they're already 9 points up. I believe they will be able to close that distance with TODAK already being eliminated. So eArena, they're on this hustle, and you could see the dire need for them to close out this fight, for them to really close that gap between them as well as BTR. As much as it's not 97 points just yet for either side of the party, it's definitely plenty more that they could gain out of this map since it's only stage 4. But once this stage 4 closes, I think this is going to be a frantic situation for all the teams who are still involved.
Blue zone hitting Makaris. He needs to save himself here and find a recall tower. The recall tower in stage 4 is so difficult to do the recall. He can actually go. It's not that too far behind him. There's one recall tower, but the blue zone will eat them out alive despite they manage to get recall anyway. So you need to find a safe recall tower, but it's scarce when it comes to this sort of circle. It's barely even one recall tower around the safe zone here, and it's too much at risk. With 15 teams still intact, very small circle. If you recall in the center of everyone else, everybody start to shoot while you're still floating on top of them. But for Alter Ego, seems like Rosemary been released and the Beast is alive and taking those people down with 5 eliminations by himself. But eArena and C2 down to last player. Hey, this is a problem. This is a bad problem. As they got eliminated at first, this gives so much room for BTR to keep it going.
Oh my word. And that was FaZe Clan with a Hail Mary send. 6 points gathered up. They should be able to chase up the glue with this form of result, and they took out a Titan by doing so. Fantastic results, but we go back to BTR. Vampire Esports is the one to challenge. The last we saw, Razy has been a nuisance to try to deny players from going for those revives, and now Vampire Esports, they know that there's no other option but to fight out the rest of BTR, and that detonation 5-2. And now it's only down to Federalis.
Nasty nade by Mela, but Nasty coming out from the side off angle is always going to be Federalis out of nowhere. Finish off same 9 as well, while FaZe Clan taking out Homebois MAQNA. BTR, they're closing the gap, but at the same time they're taking too much of the blue zone. They are in trouble with Sam 9 right now. Razy just fall off from those high cliff early on, couldn't do much about it. I don't know if they can still recall with only 2 players here and barely got any recall tower. I don't think there's any at all around here for the last few circles, but still plenty of teams remaining. Everybody will try to stop BTR, but all they need right now is just for the survival game and last a bit longer. They might actually get that match point very soon then.
Sure enough, they need perhaps 2 more elation points. And if they do happen to get Chicken Dinner, that's already 20 points. Going back to the side of Alter Ego as they are taking up big fights one after another. Already 11 points for the side of Alter Ego. And like you said, Rosemary, the absolute carry right now. 6 points under his belt. And I believe there's plenty more to go. Team Flash with a desperate attempt to try to full send into an empty area. And finally, they managed to duck onto that phase. But Snape is hunting out for the rest of the members of Hill Esports right across the wing. And it's only down to 1 member left. Great instance of a pickoff coming from Snape.
Spotted out Hill. Made a U-turn for Tiger Axe. And that's going to be the last member of Hill right now. They can afford to lose. But for Rosemary, proactively trying to find the next target. We have Sam9 also taken out GLU. This is bad news. This is the map they want to aim for this elimination the most. They tried multiple times. We saw it across the map just now since the start. But didn't work out quite right for them. And Hill, Tiger X last play also got eliminated by the Xaviers, who need more points than they do compared to Hill. On the side of Vikings, if Vikings and Mixer Gang will actually push themselves in the top 5 by the end of today, by the end of whoever even smashed the point, oh boy, it's going to be a lot of teams relegated from the grand finals. But we're back into BTR. Federalis 8 points. They still need 12 more points. We haven't even counted in for their ranking points, but they need at least 15 points of eliminations to 100% be in a match point to get a smash for the next one.
Yeah, and every moment counts right now, even for the teams that are not anywhere within the reach of this smash points at the moment. 7-9, they've got 6 points. They should be good to overtake the rest of Homebois as they are no longer present, especially now we're already in the top 8 where there's already placement points gathered by the teams involved. But FaZe Clan, they're the biggest winners out of the pack because that 8 points now puts them into the safety net a little bit closer to the rest of Hail Esports and also VOIN Esports at the very same time. Alter Ego on the hillside with 2-2 split going on. They're locking their eyes onto those members of Xavier. Xavier, somehow they are playing super safe. And I guess this party kind of works out in the favor of DX so long as they make it to the top 4.
The car is forced to move out of the blue zone. It will be Xavier taking the center, of course, based on this rotation right now. But for Alter Ego, there's no stopping these guys. They know a lot at stake here. Yes, there seems to be a 50-50 to get a slot into Grand Finals, but they want the 100% secure for that slot. And this is just a great turn to start the day on the side of Alter Ego. But for 7-9, on the other hand, they're left with only 2 players. They have to make it to the top 5 to 100% secure the Grand Finals by end of today. So like it or not, they have to fight their way through. But the only team with a full score in is just Xavier's and Alter Ego. And Xavier's got the center, they got plenty of space to play with. But I do have my eyes set to BTR. They're not taking any actions. They're waiting for the time until it's top 4 perhaps. Then they start taking action because they know those rank points so valuable at this point on the side of BTR.
Absolutely. And at the very same time, they were also locked into that same terrain. I believe there was a couple shots coming from AE towards BTR, so they cannot afford to move. But now they're hunting out for the member of FaZe Clan. He was hiding in that little dip, and just like that, with a full swing of the squad, they've been able to really catch him off guard. Now that's already 5 points secured by Krypton himself as they take down Team Flash and that spur of the moment. And finally, we get some activation coming in from the side of Xavier. Paragon goes in for a knock. Can he find another one? As Chopper QQ is the final remaining member from the side of FaZe Clan. Can he buy more time before they make it into the top 5? We'll have to see. Now they swerve the attention back towards that 9.
BTR, Razy couldn't actually reset himself, taken down by Nate Xavier's. Well, we have the mid skirmish, the top teams with the most eliminations. Alter Ego rising back from the dead and now keep pushing the numbers up. They are challenging all the teams. They are really doing all out here right now in Rondo Map, knowing the fact there's a recall early on. They try to take advantage of it and now almost close to 20 points with 6 more points to go. They might actually score 30 points here for this map. They might even score a chicken afterwards. And that's going to be big, but MAQNA is 1-8 to his side of Trang, but it's going to be Vikings with a full squad still. Won't already cooked the nade. They are a bit busy against 7-9, but Tin's can do anything about it. He has to leave. Down to 1 HP, but 2 teams going down, possibly back-to-back. And it's going to be Xavier's and BTR! Oh, they didn't hit the match point before they went down.
At the very least, they make it into a top 6 finish alongside with 8 points being gathered. But Kara so far buying so much space by himself. He depleted 2 members inside of MVKE. Now it's a 1 versus 2. Absolutely doable. And he spots him out. This could be a bait moment for MXG, but the blue zone's already chipping in. Very risky place to be. Now he's putting the pressure alongside, but he gets snatched from across the corner. Break, finding the final blow. MVKE prevails into the top 4.
I have a feeling it's going to be Alter Ego versus Xavier's for ending here. Speaking of the teams that seem to be rising the very last day at the very critical moment. Both teams near those points. Especially Xavier's. When it comes to eliminations, it's not too little, but not too great either compared to Alter Ego. Of course, they just let loose everything and unleash the beast within them for the side of Alter Ego for now. But for Chopper and Vikings, oh boy, they might be the victims here, depending on the Xavier's and Alter Ego, whether they want to go and push forward and deny the entry into the circle or not. But we're down to the top 4 teams here. With FaZe Clan, Chopper can actually last long enough.
There's such a big recovery coming in from MVKE, FaZe as well as Xavier to manage a top 4. This might actually put them into the finals. We'll have to see how many more rounds will they get. But a chicken dinner will definitely change their fate right now. And now who secures it? And Alter Ego landing the strike onto the side of MVKE. barely any wiggle room left for the side of the Vikings as they're using those vehicles as cover for the moment. And they're drawing every other player's attention towards that direction for the moment. While Xavier, they're sitting still, waiting for the right chance to strike down AE.
The repositioning 2-2 formation aside of Alter Ego. Two of them try to cover on the northern side, the other two try to see what's on the southern side, how many teams are there. But for the Vikings, the smokes pop kind of give away the information as well. Wound T advancing forward. It's a bit too much at Riz and Nate. What a spray! Not even a glimpse to get it out. Barely touching the rim of circle. These guys really showing no mercy at all. They spotted out Shopper as well. These Xaviers, whatever point they can actually find it, try to take it away. Well, Alter Ego, they can get 20 eliminations here if they found the rest of the teams that is without the full squad in. It's down to Shopper and Break. Who will be the point taken out by whom? Contributing to which team? Lamborghini spotted out Break. He will not let him go. Every single point is a dime right now for Lamborghini and the rest of these Xaviers. Whilst on the side of Alter Ego, they're waiting things out. They heard those gunshots just next to them as well.
Yep, and that being said, Xavier, if they do close this out, they should be in the clear. They've managed only 2 points from the past weekend, and if they get perhaps another 3 points, that's sufficient for a spot in the grand finals. Break, barely enough space. You can see how difficult this terrain is for all these players to really play out. Xavier, they can't afford to also move too far up because they know Alter Ego is also waiting over onto the outskirts. They caught a glimpse over on the Rosemary and a couple of attacks now being sent out from the side of Lambo. Not quite enough to take them down just yet. Alter Ego.
Lamborghini couldn't actually overuse his rifles now. His magazine's running short when it comes to their resources. Has to be a bit more reserving regarding what they have here. Those long shots have to be hit. If not, he got no more rifles to work with. There you go, running down to the last reserve magazine after this. They saw Break for quite some time now, but couldn't advance through because of where Alter Ego's at. But Rosemary will take Break away. That's going to be effort wasted on the side of Lamborghini coming out from the Xaviers. This will wipe the smile off their face. While Shopper spotted by Paragin for any consolation. At least they got Shopper. It's 1-1 each. Now it's going to be a 4v4 between these two teams. Last we've seen Lamborghini and the Xaviers running out of the bullet. And on the side of Alter Ego, they are slowly advancing while calling down the boulders to push forward. But we do know in 30 more seconds to go, there's no more circles to be seen. And it's going to be like, they have to battle it out and duke it out in the center.
It's a fair fight between the two. Plenty of smokes now deployed from the side of the Xavier. Exchanging bullets after bullets. Snake now locking his eyes over on that very far corner. Alter Ego does have a little bit more of that wiggle room after calling into those boulders, but is it going to be enough for them to really push through? These Xavier, they've been saving a lot of all these troubles, and now it's time to put it to good use. First one being sent out from the side of Snake, and it's going to be all these, definitely it's all sent out pretty wide as well as short. Nothing connecting so far, and the longer it takes, these resources might not mean anything at all once the smoke subsides. And Paragin is pushing through the smoke.
It's a bit risk to take it. But go big or go home, they said. They really want this chicken for the side of these Xaviers. They're willingly to go and advance forward. Might actually have to shield their body just for the sake of advancing to a side of Alter Ego. But the Blues start to close in and for the side of Alter Ego. Snap is down. Paraji, what a name. But there's going to be some trade-off with MAQNA getting those knocked down the side of Paragin as well. It's too close for Paragin. While the rest of these Xaviers a bit far for the cover fire, but they need to advance either way because the Blues start to shrink out and also will chuck down their life. But the nades a bit short and a bit hard to toss. It's down to those long fights, long range shots coming out. Lamborghini toss another one in the center for what? Maybe they want to build a crate in the center so they can actually take a hide in there. But Snape is down. Rosemary next. That's Crypto down. It's going to be the Xaviers. They needed this chicken. They got it. But will they celebrate? Because right now they're still at the bottom. How much will this improve their overall ranking for the Xaviers? But on the side of Alter Ego, hey, they had plenty of elimination that can somehow compensate their loss of that chicken.
The former Southeast Asian champions duke it all out to the tail end. And it's the Vietnamese superstar roster who have finally get their hands on a win at long last. I think that it's been a long time coming ever since we've seen DX performing like this. And this might just be sufficient for them to be saved just by this round itself.
I wish they can play all the other maps like this for both teams, the Xaviers and Alter Ego. It's been a while they're actually at their best form, and this is actually the best performance we had the entire week coming out from Alter Ego and the Xaviers. It's been a while they're actually proactively trying to hunt people down. I don't know where their confidence went for the entire week too, but I'm glad that it's finally here. Levi, Persian, Lamborghini, Nate T. When it comes to damage, everybody actually dish out almost a similar amount of damage to 700 over, except for Nate T, of course. Got gunned down early on as well. But when it comes to the MVP, you have to give it to Levi. He contributed as much as the others in terms of damage, but he did secure more eliminations on his side.
Yeah, Levi's as well as Nate in that very final moment was absolutely key. You saw the flank coming in from Nate to be able to pincer some of all these angles and leave not much space open for Alter Ego to even try to trade back. Paragin was also pretty pivotal because he was willing to put his body on line to kind of full send towards their direction, and he went for that 1-for-1, and eventually it caused that scramble where Alter Ego have to decide, do we go in for the save? Do we actually apply a little bit more pressure? And you know what? For DX, the pressure only formed diamonds, and they secure this win once again after a long time coming. So, of course, we want to take a look at how they do it as we bring in the highlights.
What a map just now since the start. Not even the circle popped yet. We get some action down to the very last wire. Very last second too. Non-stop fighting for the teams. They try to gain as much elimination as they can when it comes to Rondo map. But the most damage that I've seen so far, my entirety of the casting this league this season right now, this is going to be the most out of it. 4,089 damage by Alter Ego. Imagine if they score a chicken. I want to see how each individual of Alter Ego actually dished out their damage just now.
Yeah, that was actually super impressive. You saw Mixer Gang got almost about double digits of eliminations as well, and they're only dishing out 2,125. So if you actually add those numbers together, it's absolutely ridiculous of the work rate that these boys of Alter Ego has put out. But of course, we definitely want to highlight that Levi's was the key player for them to secure this victory. As much as some may actually say DX, they're not playing all too flashy in the early game as compared to the rest of the field, but they booked the prime location where teams have to travel to, and they just hunker down, hold it so well until the very final hour to take on Alter Ego. Levi's was locked in. And he was not only dishing out those damage, he has been able to open that space up for Dingo Xavier to win.
29% headshot. That's quite a high benchmark there as well, coming out from Levi. You have to be careful against this player. But 22 points, Altia, no chicken, no problem for this time. But they will definitely get into the grand finals if they keep performing like this. Because last week they only scored like, what, 3-4 points? If they score another 3-4 points by end of today, it's still going to be A-OK because they will get the slot into grand finals. And when it comes to the Xaviers, they are one of the shaky teams when it comes to getting those slot in grand finals. I'm glad they actually start to wake up here today with 21 points. They scored the chicken, so that's a big contribution. But I do want to see the other team like FaZe Clan as well as GLU. I'm not seeing GLU in the first page. This is quite concerning since they only scored 1 point last week for their league ranks.
Yeah, and this time they only managed to secure 3 points, whereas it's big improvements coming in from both MVKE and also FaZe Clan in this round. So Glue, I think they'll be pushed down in the pecking order because this round, you see all these teams start to really show some aggression all across the field. Even the team like eArena was struggling in the early game. They walked away with 6 points at the very least. Hell Esports, I think they were trying to actually pick up fights, but they also were struggling to even get those recall in the early span of the matches. So it is a really bad out, but there's still a few matches remaining. BTR, they're inching closer and closer to the 97 points as they're holding to that #1 spot. But this round, it's been huge for Alter Ego as they push all the way into the top 6 to get alongside with MXG with those improvements as well with 48 points.
BTR a bit too early when they got eliminated early on. 11 points to go still, which gives so much opportunity for the teams like eArena and Team Secret to close the gap in between them. But I want to congratulate Alter Ego from the very bottom now up to the top page as well. But on the side of the Xavier, they still have plenty more maps to go. That's good news for them because right now they're slowly climbing up to the 10th spot despite starting off at 16 early on. At least, hey, welcome to the 30s from the teens before. So it's big progress within a day and within a match that's coming up from the Xaviers. But the others, Vampires, Team Flash, FaZe Clan, VOIN, FaZe Clan, and GLU. It's going to be the one in trouble here right now. I wouldn't worry too much about Halo VOIN right now because last week they're doing pretty good themselves. But for GLU and FaZe, they have to fight for their life here.
Yeah, they definitely need to put their best foot forward from here on out. Now we're going to see a shift of tempo as they can't afford any form of mistakes in the matches of the Wrangle, where we're going 3 matches back-to-back, and then we go into 2 rounds of Miramar. And on match 13 as well as 14, like you said, the #1 team will get to pick if we did not end by the set matches. So, of course, I hope that things will go smooth sailing for them, as if you guys have been experiencing lag back in the past, well, all you have to do right now is update into the version 4.0 for you guys to experience super smooth frame rates. And of course, that being said, you won't have to complain about all too much lag. It's all down to your own personal performance from here on out, as BB 4.0 is sure to put an end to all of your concerns.
Now, if you guys already updated, you guys should know you will join in the spooky soiree update as well, because when you update the PUBG Mobile version 4.0, it comes along with this. So make sure you guys get ready for a new gameplay and epic IP collaboration. If you haven't tried it yet, try it now, because big surprises are dropping this September and October. So don't miss out. Stay tuned for more spooky fun. So spooky. Yikes.
Woo! And of course, if you guys are not into all too much horror, then there is definitely this exciting drop that's happening right now. It's been released a couple of days ago. If you guys have not checked it out, so my games, my rules, my survival. G-Dragon here is going to provide you with a lot of cool stuff, from skins into events happening in games. So make sure you guys lock in to snack yourself some of all these exclusive collabs from GD.
Now for the next one, it's going to be all the bling bling and ka-ching ka-ching. Of course, it's going to be the collaboration with none other than the Lotus. The Lotus experience has arrived in PUBG Mobile for you guys to make your journey unexpected. So don't forget to take command of the road in style and join in the game Moto Cruise event and claim the iconic Lotus car hashtag Amira and Amiya, where there's precision, performance and exclusivity awaits. It's only a limited amount of time until the 4th of November, so make sure you guys get your hands on it before it's gone. Now back to business we go. We talked about BTR have a high chance to actually score plenty of eliminations when it comes to Rondo, but they did not score it well. Now, we see the idea. I kind of get their creativity in the game, getting to the highest point by Razy without anything on him, except for that JS7, and then not even enough bullet. So that's a shame, actually. If he actually got a 8x scope with even an M4, whatever the rifles there is, he didn't get any secondary weapon. He doesn't need a pump gun or DBS if you want to play that game. But he doesn't have the equipment.
Yeah, but he did manage to at least pull through a significant run. The rest of BTR did manage to walk away with those 8 points. So at least they've been able to close the margin so that maybe in another span of round or in this round itself, they should be able to hit as close as possible towards the smash points. Whereas eArena, they also tried to play super aggressively, but they were halted back. I believe they were taken on by FaZe Clan, and that was a shocker because FaZe Clan, you know, they've been struggling, but they have definitely fixed a lot of all these mistakes from the past, and now FaZe Clan is also looking relatively good to really bring themselves out of the gutter.
The Xaviers and Homebois MAQNA Esports. For me, I think we both are going for the Xaviers. I'm scared that we might actually jinx them with the double curse from the castle stairs. But I agree with FaZe Clan. I totally agree with you. They need to make something out of this next eRangle map because there's no more recall tower. There's no more elimination points that you can get until almost 20. But I have to give it on the side of Alter Ego. Will they go on with their Rampage mode right now? They are... I feel like they're running amok in the map. They have no care in the world regarding whatever, or as long as they get themselves the most eliminations out there. I want to see each damage by per player in the last match. I think one of it, at least one or two player of Alter Ego will be in it. 1,520 by Rosemary, 1,114 by Snape, 975 by Krypton. The only not on top of this chart right now is the last player of Alter Ego. I think that's Alva possibly is playing.
Yeah, I think it was absolutely Alva. But hey, if your teammates can hit that hard, it doesn't matter too much because last round, they've been able to achieve 22 points without a chicken dinner, and DX, they were just 1 point shy. But both sides are absolutely feeling super happy about their performance out of that round of Rondo. Now, moving into Wrangle, of course, you will see maybe lesser output when it comes down to the damage as compared to maybe last round because of the number of revives that goes through, allowing them to fight for so much longer. So this time around, with the perception change, and also the tempo difference when it comes down to how they actually play out fights, I'm hoping that D-Saber can kind of find that same kind of rhythm. But, you know, maybe we've put the predictions a little bit of far stretch on how much we're expecting these teams to really get back-to-back wins. But hey, it's still a possibility.
Hey. It's not a prediction these days. It's team to focus, and they need to focus here right now. I mean, a prediction or not, it's team to focus, and these Xaviers is going to be the team that need their focus right now. Same goes for FaZe Clan. I mean, it's not far stretch at all. They need to perform like how they did just now because there's a high chance the third map, we might have somebody to smash it based on how BTR still couldn't score their smash point rule. So that's open up for the teams at second and third place. eArena and TODAK might join in anytime soon. But let's walk into or fly into the normal map again. The OG, the classical eRangle.
Well, I believe some of these teams have been waiting for this map to appear because Rondo, it was an absolute slugfest when it comes down to those duels. So now they get to enjoy maybe a little bit more of that space in those early stages and then plot something huge for the end game. So we'll have to see how this one goes as we start off from Noble Route 9 to take all the way into the north point of Soiree. Still a lot of space for them to really work with. Maybe a far stretch for Primoz Party. We'll expect teams like Vampire Esports to shift locations, maybe into Stalber. We'll have to wait and see. While Hale Esports are currently the ones sitting at the bottom because FaZe Clan as well as DX, they've decided today is the day that they go all in, and it's just so lovely to see.
We have to rectify our points just now. It wasn't Alba. Alba's not playing here for Alter Ego. It's going to be MAQNA.
Okay.
But for Circle, we waited for the Circle to put. I hope to get an SMB Circle because we haven't got any SMB Circle in the PMSL week number 2 before. If that's going to be the case, it's going to be a bloody massacre just to get into the bridge area. But we have to wait and just pray the Circle be nice for us, not for the players. But it's still plenty for room for the teams that actually drop themselves for Chinky. At least this Circle is still generous enough for the players, not for us. But if it goes down all the way, I wouldn't mind at all.
I wouldn't mind either ways. I mean, looking at how things actually kicked off this time around for Sem9, they spot out that there is a lurker in the form of Homebois. So perhaps Mika as well as Abazal is going to look to pinch him. He's got the micro Uzi, good enough to defend himself for now, but his secondary weapon is only a pistol. So that's not going to be good enough. The entire squad is already here. And Homebois MAQNA Esports, despite having such a huge improvement, you see them side by side. They're 1 point behind Sem9. And Shamils kind of found another Malaysian team in the form of TODAK. And that's first blood already being secured.
They have to know there's no recall tower this one. I hope they will try to give aid and support to Real. He needs it. He needs it bad right now. He barely got enough when it comes to Giz. At least he spotted out an AKM just now. But the rest of Homebois just arrived. Yuhai already opened up the fire. It will be a very short-range combat with Shamil started taking off his Bison. Well, he opened the door. He doesn't want to open the door. He knows it's a trap. But speaking of another trap, eArena spotted out GLU. We talked about GLU before. They are in trouble with one man short. On the side of Homebois, here comes the rush on the side of Sem9. They breach in for Homebois, but Adik Boy on the ground bleeding out. Now Mika, can he find it around the corners? He's playing ring around the roads here. A bit of a maze, but Shamil's down as well. Furin next with an AKM. Spotted out Kim straight on the ground. Now there's TODAK on the other end too. What a third party play right now.
And they're just helping out Sem9 to clear the final remaining member, Homebois, and they will be the first team to bow out. All the Malaysian teams are clashing upon one another. Sem9, they were the biggest winners out of all these duels. And it is just so rough on how things actually started out because we saw Real did actually get those back up, but the kind of engagement that they actually assigned for up against M9 was a little bit too hard to execute, in my opinion. So, yeah, it was a little rough.
I have to say, TODAK really touch and go in that one. Just to get the replay, okay, we get the Shamil first contact, and this is what I worried for GLU. Look at how aggressive eArena going on right now. They're aiming for the eliminations just for the sake to catch up to BTR, so they won't be the only team that can reach to the match point. But on the side of TODAK, it's so funny they really literally touch and go. Oh, Sem9 is still alive down there. We don't want to fight them. Let it be. We just get a couple of points, it's fine. We got 1 point. Yeah, we're happy about it. Just let it go. And that's it. They gone. I thought they're going to go another round against Sem9, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought so too. And like when you go in for those kind of pickoffs, if they're going to be still limping, you will know that, oh, we can kind of take this fight because there's a few more members that's pretty much scoreable. But when you immediately take out that team and it's like, okay, so this team is already being wicked out, so I don't think you should challenge me. Boo! Oh, they found TODAK though.
They have to fight this. They have to win this. At least they got a 2v3 rather than 2v4. But KF, he made it out. But there's somebody else waiting downstairs. He clears the door immediately. Oh, what a play with the door. Oh, KF, he clutched it. KF made it. He knocked down 3 out of the players remaining for TODAK with that one last bullet as well. Incredible play. Who knows how big of an impact a door can be? Never looked down on a door before, and this is how you get to play with a door.
his game sense is unmatched. Like, remember back in the first day, he's been able to really put all these stops, and he's the one performing so well, even back in week 1. And when you bank in all your hopes on KF, he delivers it. Literally, like you said, 1 bullet left. He could have easily been taken out, but that ring around the rosy just by the door kind of allowed him to find all 3 members. But we got more action, Choo-Choo, as Alter Ego rocks up against the rest of Team Flash. Those nades are now dropping right in. Krypton, though, is getting tagged out by Bose from another angle.
And Bo is always good when it comes to working with angles. It's going to be the top Terminator of Team Flash versus Rosemary. I want to see this one unfold, but unfortunately Zeus coming out from off angle here. This is the best play coming out from Team Flash. They are setting the trap very neatly. You cannot even spot the rest of their members, even in the mini-map. Now, Team Flash, do they respond by just going all into his alter ego and take them down, or do they just let them slip by? But right now the chase is on, and Zeus spraying over to Snape! Snape, oh, he needs a reload. There was a clear line of sight. But when he hasn't actually given up yet, Snape down to 1 HP. He needs to go for the reset by his... I want to toss those Molly, but he needs to go for the healing first. But when here comes the nade flying over, what a trajectory! And that's Alter Ego from hot to cold in an instant. And Team Flash, they scored a 4.
That is so impressive. Every single member was in tune, in sync, and like you said, we don't even see where these angles are coming from. It's a team ace, 1 for all and all for one. And with wanting to see this form coming in from the side of Team Flash, they couldn't find it yesterday, but I'm glad they are finally regaining all that momentum here from the get-go once they touched down inside of Erangel. And just in this matter of moments, within that stage 1, 3 teams vanish.
Stage one. Stage one. We have to emphasize stage 1, guys. And 3 teams already gone. How many will we have left when it comes to stage 4? Let's do the math. But yeah, when it comes to the circle, we haven't actually seen whether the circle is going to pull downwards or still going to go towards Pachinki. If it's Pachinki, then great news for the Xaviers. That's going to be their usual drop. But whether they can actually secure the teams that are coming in, especially around the Pachinki trenches, now that's going to be a good place for a lot of teams to fight for. But for Sam9, they're just going to play slightly slow on top of Fairy Pier. They know it's still inside of a circle. The circle haven't actually shown any sign that it will progress towards north or south. But as soon as we get to see the circle, will be Gatka Field or will be down south? It's going to be Quarry instead.
Oh, that actually benefits Glue Squad. I mean, as much as they don't really have too many members alive, this actually prolongs their stance onto holding out the area. But it really depends on how many teams are moving towards the direction, because majority of all these teams love to be planted somewhere on the hillside to gain that control over the Gatka fields. So perhaps there's a little bit of a reprieve. And as we talk about that, it's going to be a side-by-side high-tail action through those vehicles as BTR gets tagged up, and it seems like it's a very difficult stance for Federalis to even drive straight at the moment. There's the Xavier over on the side, and I believe there's a couple more teams planted over in the other corners as well. MBKE trying to do exactly the same, but Wunti, he sees those vehicles driving by, and he's already turning back over in the north point. So BTR, I'm glad that they're safe. They could still go in for that hurdle to beat the match point.
Managed to secure a compound that's pretty safe and peaceful for now, and in the center of the circle as well. This might last them quite a long defense if they can actually hold their fortress strong, because the Xavier seems to be very interested about their compound there. We see how they're actually chasing the tails of a BTR early on, but we don't spot a lot of action coming up from VOIN when it comes to this Super Weekend, by the way. But I wouldn't worry too much, like I mentioned before. Regardless of how they ended up by end of the day, they're still going to get into the grand finals thanks to their first week Super Weekend performance. But I want to see whether eArena can deny BTR smash, because it was the other way around last week. BTR denied eArena to smash it. So for the side of eArena, quite a consistent team. If you ask me the most consistent team this season, I have to give it to eArena.
Yeah, so far they've always been pretty much having this kind of steady formula where every single round they walk away with bare minimum 5 points. I mean, unless if it's really tough for them to actually enter into the zone or stuff like that, then yeah, certain rounds they do end up with 0, but they always recover when you have a great setup like eArena. It's almost fail-proof that they've been able to really churn in slowly and steadily, even if they don't get those chicken dinner. And once they do, you see those big results coming out there. So right now, eArena, they're also inching closer and closer to BTR with those 2 points.
Oh, BTR!
BTR! Oh,
it's going to be the third place. The third place, if they take out the third place, it just gives more room for BTR in eArena to score the points and just pull themselves away from the teams that try to catch up to their points here right now, especially the closest one is going to be TODAK. They couldn't afford to lose now for the side of TODAK. They need to play it slightly safer. But as the circle shrinks even further, Team Secret, BTR, eArena, and indeed Xavier's, all the hot teams happen to be in the center, playing around the center of the circle here. Well, the side of BTR, at least they didn't lose any men yet. It scores 1 elimination out of Team Secret player. So I assume the rest of Team Secret will not follow the footsteps of their fallen comrade just now. Probably he's the scouter for the team.
Yeah, he's doing an absolute massive job right now to really relay all that intel. Back towards the side of eArena, they're taking things very steadily as they're having a firm control over the hillside. But they don't really know what's beyond this hill, and that is going to be the major problem. So hopefully they'll be able to eventually pave a passage. And I believe not too far off, it's also BTR. So these two teams do not wish to collide against one another unless if eArena actually gets a clean sweep. Then they'll be absolutely happy that they can find avenues to eventually have that clean run against BTR. But easily said than done. We go back over on the drawing board as we have VOIN to challenge Vampire Esports.
Oh, Red Bull spotted out Bull Potato. Water spray by Red Bull. Up behind, they're being wrapped around Vampires if you're not being careful about this. Here comes a nade dropping by Razak. They do have those elevations, but unfortunately for VOIN, they couldn't see the other side of the hill. So they have to part ways and give it the points to his Vampires as Red Bull finish off Potato. But for VOIN, I think it's not wise for them to commit to this fight right now with Vampires, all 4 of them hovering around the same area. And Razak straight away leaving Consulate behind. I don't know what's the communication on the side of VOIN, because it feels like they are very far apart, a bit later for Consulate to leave as well. Going around those 3 will not actually help him so much as another one easily taken out by Vampires. What was Consulate thinking? Why is he delaying his departure after he saw Razak just start the engines and flying across the field?
Yeah, a little bit of a sign of hesitance as well. I felt like it was a little bit disjointed. As much as they were really looking for that space, they have no other option but to really dock into this really tight shack. But thankfully, there's no other teams close enough. But as much as I say that, I do see that there's Glue Squad on the opposite side while they lock their eyes upon the rest of MVKE. Now, Vampire Esports, from one fight to another, now they're challenging up against the rest of Team Flash. They don't really get a glimpse from behind the spine of the hill. Team Flash, they know that this is a very risky position, so instead, they aim to hunker down over on the other compounds, which is relatively safer from harm's way. So Vampire Esports, they're given a little bit more space, but are they willing to take more out of those other members of Team Flash?
Now, circle time is going to be got Carfield all around a very flat plane, except for the left side where Federales and the rest of BTR. It's a very sweet compound they can hold. But the downside of that particular compound slightly on the low ground set of the highs. That's why Red Face is a bit far. But FaZe Clan, they are crashing into a Hills compound, and the nades been spoken as well as a zip on the ground. It's a bit 1-to-1 trade for now. As FaZe Clan, they try to find all the corners, but they need to help Zip up as well.
Yeah, it's just a very rowdy fight right now. Tiger X doing his level best to just find those members of FaZe Clan. A couple attacks already connecting, and Tiger, he's already having those nades being tossed towards his corner. Chopper still in the hovercraft. He's not going to look to dodge because Vampire Esports arrives from the back, and this is going to be helter-skelter for Hill Esports.
Vampire, despite they were running away from the other teams before this happened to be the perfect timing for them to bump into the teams that's fighting with Tiger X down to 10% of HP. And Mela will score Tiger X. It will be the last of Hill just now. They still have some players alive on the side of Hill. Down to their one player left. But they managed to still have a 2. But for Vampires, they try to flush out the rest of Hill as Hill responded first. Gooey's on the ground. Reacher taking down 50% of HP. But on the side of Lazarus, Schweppes, he tried to burn Pazorix alive. But somehow those Molly did not touch Pazorix at all.
And he just limps there scot-free. But there is another nade. Oh, thankfully it does not connect. Schweppes, he's got to do more. Mela trying to find the tags. Hill Esports somehow survived the brunt of all these deflates. And yet again, haven't really found that missing puzzle piece. And now they're going to be sending Red Bull to infiltrate at the very same time. So this might just be sufficient for them to eventually close it up against the rest of Hill.
Did Pazorix just naded himself just now?
He might have
Yep,
actually
Nate's
done
coming
that.
in. Richard, Pazorix is down to 30% of HP only. I don't know what happened. Nobody actually chugged him down. Maybe I missed it because we are looking from the outside view just now. Here comes the inside. What's going on? There's too many smokes. That's why they've been waiting it out from the outside. But it's spotted out. It's going to be Red Bull. Here is Red Bull for a reason. He's targeting the bullseye as always. Unfortunately, for the side of Hill, that's going to be their run this time cutting short. But for Vampires, the numbers are getting up with 6 eliminations across the board, the highest so far.
Yeah, they're looking really solid on their maneuvers, especially with those takedowns that they had over the hillside up against the members of VOIN Esports. And now they've got themselves a very steady compound to work with. Meanwhile, the rest of DX fighting all around the North Point to take that space away from the rest of Team Flash. The nades are now sent in, easily securing Zeus. One twin down, another to follow suit eventually. When lying in wait, watching and waiting, they should be able to get the rest of these members of DX within their crosshair. It's just biding time for the rest of DX to swing. They do have a couple of smokes to really work with, and Team Flash, they can't afford to really move too far off, and now they further commit, and they run one member over. This is big for Team Flash.
By the side of Levi, he's a bit stranded apart from the rest of the team. A Team Secret also spotted out Levi as well. This is not great. They're attracting too much attention on these Xaviers. But the side of Team Flash, they are in shambles as well. When the last man standing on the side of Team Flash, well, Levi is going to be coming out the last man standing of these Xaviers. They did not expect the Vikings rotating at the same time and Team Secret moving in as well. Oh, Levi, it's just a matter of time. He'll be taken out. He'll be swarmed by Vikings. Hoorah, they shout, and they will chase the heck out of Levi. Down to only 1%, 5% of HP. Oh, that's going to make me better off time. But on the side of Levi, at least he knocked down on Vikings. One player, that's going to be Tins. But won't he immediately reacted to his Team Secret rotation on their backs too?
Yeah, it's so unfortunate for the members of D-Savior from one fight to another, and they were absolutely overwhelmed. Levi's got nowhere else to go but to try to full send it up against these Viking members. And that was really timely coming in from MVKE to just swing right by. And just like that, they've added a total of 3 points so far. MVKE, they're on the surge into the top 8 right now. And they can also look to challenge 7-9 eventually. We'll have to see how much further can they actually hold in this ground. While Team Secret full sends it into the shack. A very risky attempt coming from Juke. But there's just no other cover if they want to play inside a circle. And their shots are now being sent right in. Thankfully, Doki have been able to find a little bit of crease for him to be safe.
BTR in trouble. They thought they want to play the waiting game just to go for the rank points or maybe try to score a chicken in the very last minute. But they are not alone up here. BTR surrounded by Mixer Gang players with also Team Secret surrounding them as well. And the eArena approaching towards this side. It's going to be a big fight between these 4 teams right now as Mixer Gang. Bakari is trying to play at the middle ground. But the Ral is trying to stop all this advancement by Mixer Gang. But if they're not being careful, they might get shot down. Overpeaking will actually be the victim for a third-party placement on the side of eArena as watching here. Federalis managed to get slow. And the nade by TECNO. Oh, this is a sandwich time for Mixer Gang. It barely can get out now.
All these teams are really fighting for that space up the hillside, and they're all pretty much clumped up all together. Nades now send right through. Ferrales have not gotten that vision, but he's trying his level best to try to pick members from the side of Mixer Gang. Sakura with another grenade, connecting the shot. And now Mixer Gang, they're in shambles. Realistically, there's just no space for them to play out over the hill.
Oh, the Vikings not stopping as well. After one to the other, they are proactively finding those, hunting people down. While Mixer Gang being sandwiched in between BTR and eArena, it's just a matter of time while the Blues start to close in. And McLaurin couldn't even pick up his members. The circle will shift possibly towards the right side in between Team Secret. Sam9 got it, but they split it into two team formation because Mika and the Muzzle want to see what the noisy chaos is going on the left side of the circle. As Macari's, on the other hand, seems to be a bit sleep for the survival here. Mixer Gang, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah, they're trying their level best to try to wiggle for that space. He does trade back. Joker down. And eArena, they try to swing all together, but they are a couple meters apart. And that is just about enough. Red Face, they get the tag. And BTR, they accumulate another 3 point. Blue Squad, they will be able to take down the final members of Team Secret while the rest of eArena fight through the hillside. They finally put a dent up against MXG, but still, they somehow survive with Getslow hugging tightly by the tree.
Oh, but you saw the shots coming up from BTR on the minimap. The moment the smoke dissipates, it's going to be as clear as day for them to shoot him down. It's just a matter of time with the Blue Zones not helping Getslow as well. I mean, yes, BTR start to disengage in parting ways, but Getslow, yep, Federales on the side of BTR never failed to amuse us with his antiques coming out from very far angle. But eArena, they spot out Sam9 next, and they hop down and straight away start shooting. Mika's on the ground already. eArena, they know for a fact they need more elimination just to catch up to BTR. Whilst BTR is taking it a bit slower when it comes to the gameplay here. They know for a fact if they can score chicken, it's 100% to get to the match point instantly.
Yeah, they've already added 4 points on the tally. All they need is 7 more points. Woonti now, finding captain around to Amazal. Sam9, they were all too fixated onto taking members out of the side of eArena and now got themselves caught out. BTR, they have that avenue to re-aggress because over the North Point, it's absolutely clear for them to push right through. eArena is running out of space because they have to descend from that hillside, and now there's only small little creases for them to work with. Meanwhile, Woonti, big nade send right in. Can they find Sam9?
Sam9 being the center of attention. He needed one teammate to take down a UI. Nasty nade that is. But BTR, they're just next to eArena. Well, Woonti, the troublemaker on the side of the Viking, the last man. Not really, they still have a trio. TECNO coming up from behind. It feels like Sam9 is providing the dinner for everyone. Everyone want a bit of a Sam9 and all eyes sat onto them. There's no way out at all for Sam9.
And somehow all the smokes have been able to give them a little bit more of that space to work with. But the smokes have now subsided. What will they do right now? Break goes in to try to retrieve Woonti on the outskirts. He does have that hovercraft to also block some of all these angles at the very least. eArena regained a little bit more of that tempo since all the attention span was being brought upon the rest of Sam9. And now there's going to be a little bit of that update. Blue Squad, they make it into this top 5 run. That is amazing for their efforts because we saw Blue, they lost 2 members so early, but the circle is not within reach for the moment. BTR will be watching very closely.
A small shot works well for Vaxi right now. Keep pinning him down with that mini 14 and 8x scope as well. But BTR, Federella seems to be a bit low, not too healthy when it comes to HP. Spotted out GLU players. Vaxi gained so much information just by being here, but I hope he got himself enough smoke in case the team start to push towards his side. Spotted out Sakura. It's going to be 1-2-1 formation. Joker tried to find himself an off angle to work with because the Blues start to chip down HP of Sakura. At least the haystack will buy him a bit of time. He will survive. But for Doralis, they need to find a different angle to work with because all they see right now is just Sakura. The other side of the hill is going to be a different person entirely. Vaxi taking on Sakura again. Can Vaxi finish it off? Going for the pixel shot. Oh, close enough! Sakura, hang on, buddy! And Joker just being a joke there. He's not going to help Sakura knowing the fact, hey, you're gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, his health bar is a little too low for him to even consider a rescue. And Vexy with the 8x scope, like you said, he got those perfect angles to really work with. Meanwhile, Vikings somehow, they prevailed for so long. Now, all the attention is being drawn right back to them. Viren tries to trade back, gets a catch. And for some reason, eArena has been so elusive. They've been able to really hang on tight because they're hoping to stand toe-to-toe against BTR. And take a look at Federalis. He's closing the distance and the nades! So close. Whoa! Yeah, they're all slowly getting depleted right now, and that is just about enough coming from Red FaZe, finally appearing with his M4. Meanwhile, the fight is happening between MVK and Sem9. That big nade from Trang settles the scores as they take down the Tigers.
Now BTR, there is no more threat coming up from eArena. If they score this chicken, it's 100%. I think by now, based on the eliminations, iChance already cracked that match point. We have to wait for the total scores later on because last we've seen they need 11 points to get into the match point benchmark. But for JLU, spread into two sides of that angle. Quite an open space, barely got any covers, just the terrain. That slope will buy them a bit time. But for the Rallies BTR, they have plenty of men. They can just run these people down easily. Vaxi already snaked it out. Look at him being so sneaky. And when it comes to off angle, Vaxi have been doing it brilliantly just now. But for KF, which way to go? They have to be extra careful. They're down on man. When it comes to MVKE, the best they have is that very small shack, very small building instead. But they do have trio, so it's going to be enough for them to fight against BTR. But GLU, if they wait patiently and wait for these two teams to cancel each other out, they still can score the chicken.
That is a very high possibility. KF, he's done enough. We saw that clutch happening in the early game, and he's been able to bring the team into the top 3 finish, giving a chance, a lifeline for Glue Squad. So what Glue has to do is also to wait for this 3v3 to happen on that far corner. And now with the zone also collapsing upon the middle ground, Glue somewhat has a little bit more of that space to slowly sneak their way through. Won't really... Well, makes matter worse. For the side, catch.
He started off breaking off the tension. What a shot. Federez really great when it comes to this season, when it comes to his crosshair placement as well. But Red FaZe is actually the one taking the points down, 5 by himself only. And BTR, they have plenty now. They have more than enough. They are definitely eligible for the smash roll later on, but it's going to be Wunty under the target. Red FaZe reloads, Wunty fought back, but he got a wrong angle, and it's going to be Federalis again. On the side of Vikings, they lost, and KF as well. This is 100% BTR's chicken.
And just like you said, Choo Choo, another win in the books for BTR. And now they are here with the smash. They just need one more chicken dinner to go to end the entire course of the day and make some of these teams a little bit more miserable while they celebrate another win over the weekend.
I have to give it BTR. They scored this chicken, but they just being eligible. The question is right now, can they score another chicken after this? If they do, then that's it. That is gonna be the closing of our day. But it's so difficult to score a back-to-back chicken. And this is the chicken that they don't want to happen this early. Now, high chance, we know for the fact that's the curse going on, you know? When you get a chicken, the next one you're gonna drop cold. I hope they don't drop it for the next one, but high chance it will be. That's always going to be the case. But you have to give it for Doralis when it comes to finding those very small angle, those pixel shot. His eyes just feels like a Superman X-ray. They can see through everything.
Yeah, and you know, last round it was Alter Ego that does plenty of damage with Rosemary topping the charts with 1,004. And now Federalis have not only matched it, but have been able to beat that high score with a total 1,454. And with that being said, I mean, BTR, you take a look at their form, and BTR Ken was telling us that it only gets better round after round. So if this is not the peak, I don't know what is for BTR. I think another chicken dinner is just lying in wait in the upcoming rounds.
Oh, we gotta wait and see. But before that, we have to relive the highlight and just re-watch how BTR actually scored their chicken just now. Oh. We got the chicken right now for Beta, but is it the chicken they're looking for? Not yet. There's still going to be one more to go, but 2,864 damage out of the 1,400 is just Federalis. He put out half of the damage BTR putting out just now. That's amazing, man. I don't know what else he can offer. I'm looking forward if Federalis can actually be the top Terminator when it comes to this season.
It could potentially be the case if he could just put in results like this round. I mean, they look absolutely impeccable. And we're also looking at big improvements coming from the rest of the team, but this man is absolutely unmatched. Where you also look at him receiving those kind of damage in return, but his hit rate is super high. Majority of it, of course, body shot, but his headshot rate is still on the higher margins as well. So you mentioned about his contribution being the major key onto this win. And when we zoom into the fight, one pivotal point was when they were striking onto eArena, and he's always in between the way, and it just absolutely denies eArena to do anything at all. So Federalis have grown so much ever since he's joined this massive team.
Now, it's going to be a lot of restraint for Federalis for the next one. They cannot go too aggressive anymore because they need to score the chicken. And it's going to be tough to put up a leash on Federalis. He cannot sit quietly, by the way. So I want to see how BTR plays the next one. 24 points coming up from BTR this time. Vikings with a 14. Vikings! They're rising up the occasion, which means they can push a lot of teams that will not qualify for the grand finals later on. Because this is their first Super Weekend, they made it so big of an impact already. Same as for GLU, they need the win, they need the points. eArena, on the other hand, is going to be still another map to go for them to catch up to BTR.
Yeah, it definitely requires a little bit more of progress coming from the rest of the field. But like you said, Vikings is a team that steadily improves round after round, and it is a big cause of concern right now, even for the likes of Hale Esports, who's only got 2 points at this current point of time. And we're also seeing even Homebois having a little bit of stagnation. So it is rather worrisome. So we have to take a look in the score points. And of course, lo and behold, BTR, they hit 110 points right above the match point. So all that they need right now is a chicken dinner. Whereas eArena, within the span of round, they might be the next team to also join BTR up there within the trash hole.
Ooh. eArena. Yeah, cutting it short. 21 points to go. That's plenty of space for BTR. Even if they fail this one, they still have another chance for the next one. But I have to pray they will make it this one, because next one, eArena might join in to smash it away as well. But when it comes to the second page, I'm happy. I mean, I wouldn't worry for VOIN and Hale, but FaZe, GLU, and Xavier's Alter Ego as well. They need to make it to the first page to 100% secure their position points and their ranking league points for the grand finals here. If they do, then a lot of teams will get pushed down as well, including Talent. Sorry, Talent, but they couldn't make it this Super Weekend, so their points will definitely not going to be enough for the grand finals.
Yeah, overall, this is going to be high stakes matchups from this point onwards, because BTR, if they get this chicken dinner, it's all over. Some of these teams will have their regrets. Whereas we're looking at BLUG, they finally pick up the puzzle pieces and they're on this climb. But how much further can they climb before all the rounds end? This might be the final round of Erangel, so we'll have to see whether if teams will be able to deny BTR.
BTR. But what I do know why these players are playing so well, I think, is because the latest update. That's why we're looking at every single pixel. There's no flaw at all showcased by especially players like Federales. We've seen a lot of high clutches, like even sometimes 30k. But on the side of this, you guys have to update their PUBG Mobile version 4.0 for you guys to enjoy the smooth battleground. Who knows? You guys can actually play better than the pro players after you update this. Just unleash your inner and your long lost talent. Probably it's going to be in PUBG Mobile. But on the side of the points, can they do it? BTR, they scored the chicken, but that's not the chicken they need to finish off the round.
Yeah, at the very least that they have one foot off the door. They just need to get the other foot right now to, once again, get that big win and close off the day. So we'll have to see if all these teams can thrive. And of course, you can also thrive if you get your hands on the latest smartphone from TECNO with the POVA 7 Ultra. Of course, it comes with a beautiful AMOLED 1.5K screen on top of 144 Hertz with that level of performance. You can game all day long with their ultra battery life that can last you for hours. And if that's a concern for you, you can keep it plugged in or even have a wireless charging so you can always play PUBG Mobile on the move. So make sure you stop at nothing to achieve your wins. All thanks to TECNO, as they've been our partners for multiple seasons now, and hopefully many more.
Yeah, I probably should wrap it out. I mean, like, make it a song or a rap. You know, TECNO, POVA 7 Ultra, 5G, yeah, you know, that kind of things. But, okay, back to the serious business we go. And so far, I love to see the teams that we've been waiting for them to actually wake up finally out of their slumber and realize, hey, we're down to the last Super Weekend before heading into the grand finals, which gonna be next week. Is do it or, you know, just go home time. Go big or go home for the teams at the very bottom. Now, at the same time, with the rise of the teams that never been in the Super Weekend before, here especially, we're looking at Mixer Gang as well as the Viking. That seems to be very outstanding in the last wrangle. This will push down plenty of teams and finish the day in the top 5. Now, for Mixer Gang, it's pretty close to that. But for Vikings, they have to be a bit more aggressive as well. And another team that's going to be Sem9. We don't see a lot of action coming up from Sem9 because they're always being the victim of multiple teams and sandwich in between. So I think when it comes to rotation, they have to regroup and just reassess how to rotate because these teams are hunting people down.
Yeah, we can definitely see that these teams are trying their level best to even try to sustain. And I think like a few names have definitely caught my attention. Alter Ego, I think back in the round of Rondo definitely have been impressive. But TODAK, they are also making some steady pacing. I think like the past couple rounds surely they didn't really hit the mark where they really wanted, but if they continuously go out without big numbers, I feel like TODAK could also run a little bit of risk of dropping in the rankings, but maybe it doesn't affect them too much since week 1 they did manage to perform, and same could also be said about Alter Ego.
But Alter Ego already did a crazy amount of eliminations early on today, and we managed to get to see how crazy things can get when it was in Rondo before. But when it comes to getting it consistent, that's the bigger question here, because we've seen a lot of issues coming from Alter Ego this season. They did not have that consistency. As always, it's going to be some difficulty. It feels like they've been holding back so much that it directly impacted their gameplay now. But aside of Mixer Gang, good luck, have fun. They're having fun. I mean, they definitely feel like a bit chill here right now, but for Mixer Gang, I did not expect them to come out this strong in this Super Weekend, because they didn't even manage to make it in the first Super Weekend.
Right, and you know, I was kind of not putting too much of the eggs in the basket of Mixer Gang all too much throughout week 1, because they were looking like they're trying to adapt to the kind of tempo of play by the rest of the teams, and you know, they went in just in the nick of time to qualify in, you know, the final couple of matches throughout the groups, and found themselves here in the weekend, and they're the ones to make the best use of it. So MXG, they're definitely showing great prospects, and if they play like this in the grand finals, can you imagine the amount of damage that they could actually deal against even some performing teams right now? Because even Rondo, that last Rondo, they actually hit hard. They got like, what, 8 eliminations, 9 eliminations, and things can only go upwards for MXG.
Another team to focus on is going to be between TODAK and Team Secret. Now, TODAK, they always try to hunt people down quite early, and Team Secret, they're a bit more careful compared to TODAK, to be honest. Team Secret a bit more strategic when it comes to approaching a certain fight. But for TODAK, sometimes their recklessness seems to be their own bane. They are their own enemy here. When they found out the target, they tunnel it down too much. They are not aware of their surrounding, and surprisingly, they just recklessly open fires with no covers and standing in the middle of a crossfire between all the other teams. That's how they've been taken out just now. So I hope they kind of try to be, try to tone down a bit when it comes to their urge to take down the other players. Keep it tame a bit, okay? Don't go so wild down there.
Yeah, and you know, like their best map so far has also been Miramar, where I feel like what you said is true, because when they play in Miramar, they're a little bit more reserved. Only till the late game, they say, you know what, let's go for more fights and more fights. And they have been able to work that out. I think like Team Secret as well as TODAK, they both have a similar identity. If they do pass by a fight that's taking place, they love to third party. And you saw what TODAK did. Went in, steal 1 point, it's like, okay, time to get out.
But the moment they got out, they get into their own death afterwards. They should have picked the fight against 7-9 before, while they're still licking their wounds. I think this is just, a call that they should make in that time. It's not something right or something wrong. You cannot foresee the future. If you can actually foresee the future, everybody can get the trophy by now. So, okay, on the side of eArena, they have to be more aggressive for the next one. Like it or not, they have to catch up to BTR before they smash this one out. If they can, it's great for them, but for the other teams at the very bottom, they will try to aim down BTR now. They don't want to stop it here, because it's not safe for them to just stand still while the game finish where their rankings at. It's not going to be enough for certain teams. So they need to have more games.
True enough, but if you imagine this scenario where maybe your team is somewhere around the top 8 right now, and you're feeling good, and you're not going to be having, all these big wins to really race up against BTR. It's like, okay, if we end it now, I think we're safe for the grand final. So you could just eliminate some of these guys who are on the bottom rung of the ladder. So I guess half the field, they're like, I don't mind if BTR wins. And then the bottom half is like, no, we must play till we get 8 games. So I feel like this is going to be that kind of conflict between the teams where, they will just shoot at anything that moves and hope that is BTR.
Speaking of BTR, I know I asked you guys before in the chat regarding, if you want to join in the game of your fantasy team right now, you can actually join in Contra. For me, before this, I had the idea of having Win and Bows or whatever, like we had our own composition of players. With what Federales offered just now, I'm curious to see what if Rosemary and Federales happens to be in a team and they happen to be both frontline fragger, entry fragger. It'll be interesting to watch. And I still want Bows in that lineup because of how incredibly unique his positioning when it comes to getting those off angle. While I put in IGL role. IGL.
Who would that be? Who do you think is the best current IGL at the moment? Could it be from Alter Ego? Could it be from BTR or Team Flash? I mean, Team Flash, sure.
Because Rosemary always perform where he plays with Potato. I kind of miss Potato because when Potato actually being shuffled and being transferred to VOIN, that's where VOIN suddenly rise up and Alter Ego kind of lost their touch. And after they got that defending champion, that's where after that Potato actually left. So I personally feel like Potato kind of brings the best out of Rosemary. But Razy is so bad as well if we want to put him as IGL. I don't know. IGL is still going to be someone that KIV for me. But I personally want to see if one day, if that happens, Federales and Rosemary in a team, my God, imagine the number of elimination in Rondo only.
It's a very scary thought, but you know what? We have always had those kind of show matches, or even you have iterations of PMRC. I kind of wish they scramble all these teams to play together so that we kind of have this kind of all-stars from all region, like, Southeast Asia versus South Asia. And
I don't like that. You know why? Because they won't train together for a long time.
Yeah.
It's different. We actually really play in the league, like in PMSL, the official tournaments where you get to lift the trophy and get to a different stage afterwards. It's a different vibe because they have to stick together. They have to live together in the same gaming house.
Yeah, true enough.
And that's where you get to see how the bonding works, how the chemistry will evolve in the game.
And of course, when it comes down to Southeast Asia, we have such diversity in the form of culture as well, where it is not so easy for them to also adapt, where you took a look at regions as a whole. I think like Vietnam has the least amount of international transfer windows for, importing maybe a superstar into Team Flash, Team Secret.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, because it's really
their
down
language
to how
is the hardest, I think, amongst all these South Asia languages.
Exactly. So I think like, in essence, like only those show matches we get to witness stuff as beautiful as that to actually happen. So that being said, though, with Waffle just about enough, now it's time for us to once again dive into Iraq.
Whoa! Really, PUBG, really production, all top players survival time just saying, yeah, because they actually won that chicken dinner. It was a flawless run coming up from BTR, previous one, but this is where things get a bit more interesting. Will other teams hot drop BTR?
That's the big
They don't
question.
want the game to stop, right? They need to hunt down BTR for the sake of their survival too.
But at the same time, if you hot drop BTR and you lose, you're helping BTR get closer and closer to the chicken dinner as well. So it's kind of like a very iffy situation. You might not walk away with points. You might walk away with 4 points, and that absolutely helps. So this time around, we're starting things off inside of Milk of Power, headed into South George as well as North George. So options are aplenty. We've been asking for maybe a little bit of challenge. Maybe it's about time we whip out that island ending once more. It's just crazy looking at the stats before we even see those kind of actions, like how impressive BTR is looking. And to also recall, when was the last time we see this dominance from BTR? It's been seasons or arguably years, in fact.
For this circle is so tricky.
Very tricky.
Very tricky. But I think it's still going to be the main peninsula by the end of the day because of, you know, it's not entirely around SMB. If it moves slightly downwards, it's still going to be a tough one to call. But I think majority of the team will just probably play it safe in SMB for a bit and wait it out. But hopefully there's no bridge campers. But speaking of stage 1, it's going to be where everybody try to fight it out with a machete and a knife. Get it! And there you go. That's going to be the first blood, Nate. Unfortunately, these Avis, it's going to be Lamborghini. Really going to be unhappy about this.
I am absolutely impressed by Amazon. He's got those iron fists. Like, Lambo, he arrived, he saw, oh no, they've got a weapon. And then he just whipped out his fist to punch him out that buggy. I've not seen that in a long time.
But I do know when it comes to the Xaviers, Lamborghini will definitely not going to be happy where they lost one of their members. And 2 of them, not 1. That's devastating for the Xaviers. Especially they need those points more than the rest of the teams here. GLU and FaZe as well. Keep our eyes on these 3 teams. If they don't make it a comeback, it's going to be tough. But I want to see where the BTR actually dropped himself early on. Did it drop the usual place or did it actually change it? And this is going to be Team Secret. Love me or hate me, Doki.
Yeah, well, I absolutely love the interview when we asked GQ. He's like, "Oh, you don't like Doki? Same. Like, we don't like him because he's really
we love him, but we don't like him."
Yeah, it's just such a funny lad, and I love that he puts on that serious face on that interview as well to make it look a little grim. But hey, these guys are a fun bunch. Well, Tiger X is here to destroy whatever fun that there is, though. Xeris tries to trade back. Meanwhile, 2 members up against 1. Xeris behind that wall. He doesn't have much space, but somehow he's still pretty much healthy after all the exchanges. And Tiger X almost getting clipped down.
This is bad news for Team Secret. They have been in a clear advantage at the start of the day and multiple times. And I think when it comes to the progress of their points, they barely got any points here. They're always the first one to be in the early skirmish. They're always taken out quite early as well. So despite they got himself at the 3rd place, the gap has been stretched to the point it's so difficult for them to catch up to eArena or even towards the match point. They're in the 60s early on. They're still in the 60s till now.
I'm thinking that perhaps this teams, they're just really experimenting as well because Team Secret last week, they had a phenomenal run. And trial and error doesn't seem like they've been able to break through some of the surging teams right now that's currently putting so much pressure upon them. Just like Hill, who's currently desperate for those points. Now that they got 1 point against Team Secret, they are still keeping themselves afloat up against VOIN Esports. So that's big news. And if they do knock FaZe Clan down again, FaZe Clan might be eliminated out of this tournament.
Well, at least we still have 3 more maps to go now. FaZe Clan, they cannot afford to lose early on that one. But Tiger Axe, he scored 1 before he scored another one with a very long toss of nade. Very precise. Xeris, at least he will fight back on the side of Team Secret. They're down to 2v3 right now. Juke and Xeris, what can they do? Can they pick up their team members? As Juke already knocked down Xeris, it's down to him only. Oh, this is going to be devastating to watch Team Secret, despite they are in the top 3, but they barely got any progress. They're starting off the day with 50-ish point. Ended up with only 65 for the longest time in the 60s, while the other teams on the top already progressed so much regarding their points here. They couldn't afford to go down now, but Xeris things seem to be very slim. As they know where he actually stands, it's the matter of time only. They will wrap him around.
And like you said, they are just choking out all that space. And Team Secret, they were so disjointed in this fight that they cannot afford to do too much. But it's all Tiger X's effort that secures them this massive ace with 3 points under his belt. And that is super important because Hale right now has knocked FaZe Clan down once again.
Real. A lot of teams seems to be very interested around farm, but this is what they need, Limboy. He's the star player for Homebois MAQNA, but with Real already taken out. Real's always very separated compared to all his other teammates. Last time we saw the same scenario from Homebois as well.
Yeah, and it seems like it's the same occurrence once again in the farm where he's just trying to take one space, and it's unfortunate that they're dealing with BTR. And now that they know that Homebois are around the vicinity, you can see that they are so scattered apart that it's so hard for them to even consider refragging. And therefore, they got no other options but to turn away from BTR. Great tracking coming from the side of Great FaZe. Not quite enough to actually take him out of that vehicle though, but that vehicle stranded out in the open. Homebois looking to pick him up, so they will still be A-okay for the moment. BTR adds one more to the tally, but now it does not really matter how much eliminations that BTR gets. All they need is that golden chicken dinner to really put it all to an end. And like you said, it just baffles me. I mean, Homebois, they started today somewhere on the high pecking order, and they slide all the way down to 12th spot right now.
I have to work things out with Real. I think Real's always the first one to be taken out on side of Homebois. But I want to see BTR, can they keep the leash on Federales? Because they need to play it safe. Being reckless, I mean, if they want to get a points like their usual stuff, they can, but a lot at stake here if they lose this match early on, because eArena is just very close to get towards that match point as well. But another team that we talked about before, Sem9. At least Sem9, they're working out as a pair, you know, like 2-2 formation. It's not like what Homebois did with one Real out of sudden, out of nowhere, a bit far from the rest. But for TODAK, we talked about their rotations before. They always got caught in the process. This is going to be the same thing happening again.
Oh.
But any consolation, they managed to drag him out of there with that vehicle.
That was really
man.
fast. I kind of like how quickly he picks him up as well while in the vehicle.
Fast
so
thinking.
That is a quick save, quick thinking coming out of TODAK. So Sem9 will have to work a little bit harder. And like you said, you know, back to the notion where, you know, you talked about putting a leash on Federalis. What about unleashing all four of their players? Just let them go on the rampage and, you know, they dwindle down those numbers. It could also be that possibility that allows them to play.
You don't want that to happen. You can't let that happen with this much teams around you. You're going to attract all this unwanted attention and everybody will start to shoot you down. We've seen that happen multiple times before, but on the side of Team Flash, there's going to be the Vikings. The Vikings on the rise here. They got himself in the top 5 as well from the bottom before. Now break knockdown. What a nade by Tops. Zeus on the other end. Spot out another player. It's going to be Trunks on the ground. Vikings losing their men. And I don't think 1T and the rest of Vikings want to be a part of this anymore. They just let the other teammate taken out by Team Flash, and there's extra bonus 2 points for Team Flash.
Yeah, I absolutely love watching Team Flash in action because they always execute so cleanly. You saw that defense as well. They reacted instantly the moment that MVKE choose to try to knock them out of the park, but instead, they're the ones who suffered with 2 losses right now. MVKE, we praised them so much in the past couple of rounds. Now, they have to be a little bit more passive as compared to what they've shown us. And last round, top 3 finish, super respectable. And hoping that there's a lot more if they do make it to the finals. Now, back towards the side of Sem9, you talk about that kind of a formation that they've been playing. They have this kind of 2-2 split going on, and then they usually reconvene. I think that this really seemed like a really mature Sem9 iteration ever since, you know, they had the kind of changes that a transfer window opened up for TODAK to be able to pick up 2 amazing prodigies. And still, Sem9 retains their identity to still be one of the best teams out there from Malaysia.
Yeah. But it's the issue is where the point of their reconvene. Whenever they cluster up together, that's where they get bombardments by all these teams.
So they have the opposite problem.
I think it's best they just split it apart. Maybe they're not meant to be together, and instead just go for the split 2-2. I think that's going to work better for them right now. Wherever they actually regroup, that's when they've been taken out. I don't know. It's weird. Usually when you're split out far apart from the rest of the team, that's where you're being picked off by another. But in the case of Sem9, it's a different contradiction completely. But this time we're looking at Vampires. Now the thing is, this lobby is so difficult. This season is one of the greatest seasons I've seen so far, based on the progress of the team and the improvement. Even the Vampires having a hard time in this lobby.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on this, Choo-Choo, especially with the introduction of Rondo, and that keeps things so exciting. And take a look at this update. Blue Squad, they're on top of that potato hill. Can they hold out if the rest of eArena is just side by side? So I'm definitely locking my eyes on that potential team fight, where a lot of all these teams will have to find that wiggle room to climb up into either quarters, and BTR, they're getting struck down!
Oh, they want to go wild, but things did not turn out like how they wanted to be. Razy got shot down immediately when he was driving straight to crash the compound of Sam 9, but Rapface is on fire today. Can they actually secure this clutch? The rest of BTR has just arrived. They will pick up on Razy. That's going to be Bexy, but Minkan and Nady overtoss, and he's down on the ground. BTR, the attempt is a success. And this is what I said, Sam 9 don't cluster up together. That's their point of reconvene. That's when they've been taken down. Just split it all apart all day long. Please.
Blink it and you miss it. And they just execute it so swiftly. It really felt like they really know this at the back of their hands. And there's still another problem because I last saw Vampire Esports, they're on the top side of the hill. Sam 9, you did talk about them. The moment they stick together, they suffered a little bit more. But the problem is not out yet. FaZe Clan as well as Vampire Esports, they're fighting for the hillside.
Oh, what a name! Oh, what a spray by Mela. Oh, he finished off straight away. That's a very long shot from the side of Mela. But Rosemary taking on a mixer gang as well. We're heading over to a school where Gatslow is the only student in here in this big school building. But for Alter Ego to actually commit to this too long, the Blues have stopped to arrive. And it's stage number 3 going to 4. I think for them to actually invest this much time for Gatslow only, it's a bit tough later after they get out from the blue. But at least in any constellation, the side of Mixer Gang, Makar is still alive, so he can go for the survival points instead.
Well, it is rather tough right now for them to even consider of any form of pickup, especially with the number of members coming in from the side of Alter Ego to secure it eventually. And stage 3, I guess it's still relatively tankable, so Alter Ego is willing to risk it for the biscuit. And I could see that there is members of MXG around the corner.
Yeah, that's Macarius, that's the last member, but Rosemary has been tracking him down. Just to see what really happened. Sam 9, they literally just regroup here. Literally like less than a minute. Look at that. Oh, Federalis, calm down. Even the marshals took by surprise at the back. But Mixer Gang got finished off, and that's going to be LT guy. I think Rosemary finished off the last member from the back. He's been tracking him a long time. And it's going to be a Potato Hills of Pachinko for the next circle, and GLE has got it in their hands.
Yeah, you got to also remember that BTR, one of their old home grounds was actually farm as well as this hillside that they played so much. So they're feeling rather confident. They should be feeling confident. And of course, Federalis, whatever he's yelling, he absolutely gets to have the last say on whatever they try to execute right now. I mean, they look so good. 5 points already. Meanwhile, all the other teams are kind of struggling. Yeah, I might jinx them, I might not. But hey, at least this team looks super healthy. For me, I'm more concerned about the Reds because TODAK right now, they're not in the clear, they're not in the zone yet, and they have to find out against Homebois. They're dropping those big nades, and they open up shop, and it is going to be a big pickoff coming in from Kim from the top side of the roof.
It's 3v4, by the way, but they've been gatekept by the rest of Homebois MAQNA. They have to go through and through Homebois MAQNA if they want to survive this one. But the nades is not making it easy as TODAK immediately lost Kenny in the process. And Limboy, this is the one that I'm talking about. I'm looking forward for Limboy performance every single day. He's just so great with working around with Shamil and Kim as well as Real, despite Real being the sacrificial lamb early on. But here comes TODAK down to one player. And it happens to be FaZe Clan as well. Where to run for Frenzy? How to survive this? He can actually last here longer. But he popped the smoke. That just gives away so much information towards FaZe Clan. And now eyes will be tight shut towards his side, and they will not leave until he show himself.
Yeah, it's just so rough for TODAK. I felt like that was a really botched attempt. They kind of know that there's somebody out there, but when you want to challenge that compound, you need all 4 players, and it really felt like they just went in one after another. And you saw how they got punished for it. Rosemary now driving through the hillside. Got a couple of attacks coming from the side of BTR. But it is the lower side of the trees of this hill that they're looking for. But they kind of put themselves in trouble because there's still so many teams up there on the hill.
Oh, there's only one rock to cover himself. Lucky they got himself that smoke grenade. But VOIN, they arrive with a hovercraft. You have to run when there's hovercraft flying over or running over towards hills. Unfortunately for Team Flash, things not working right. They were surprised. They had their guard down because they were rotating as well. Leaving down to only Zeus to do the plays on the side of Team Flash. They're not doing so great when it comes to this SuperWeekeend compared to the last one. But for VOIN, they're hunting him down. They are not letting go anyone at all, despite it's just one last player of the one particular team. But Zeta managed to reset himself for the hovercraft. That's one beast that can actually run people over easily, but they're gonna go spot out GLU next against VOIN. Zeus is still there, by the way.
Oh, he's kind of caught in between, so he kind of needs to buy a little bit more time, and he might be able to third party at the very same moment. VOIN Esports tries to run the members of BLUG over, but it's not going to be as easy as that. KF waiting in the wings, and once again, it's KF. Oh, Bill will catch over onto Zeta. He's going to make it pretty easy to just clear out that fallen member of VOIN Esports. And now, VOIN, because they were caught up between Team Flash, now they are getting caught up.
Oh, he got a hide and seek to play here for the side of Zeta. Hiding in that hovercraft for a bit much longer, but the nade, he managed to reset in that. Never mind that. Potatoes down as well. That's going to be the last of VOIN. Thanks to Zeus aiding GLU in that process. He got himself a bit of a sweet revenge from the back. I don't mind if I don't get that much point. As long as they are being eliminated, I'm happy. But we do have a rotation coming from Vampires. And it's going to be held. They're challenging at a confrontation between these two teams.
And you can see how swiftly Vampire Esports executes this. Two members back-to-back taken down from the side of Hill Esports. And 3Touch a little too far off. And he's also being pummeled with a couple of bullets. FaZe Clan now being charged by the rest of Homebois, but they rock up the not wrong neighborhood. Instantly deleted by Shopper.
Now, all these solo players being such a big troublemaker for the other teams, including TODAK Frenzy towards the side of FaZe Clan, who needs the point more than anybody else right now because they might be relegated from the grand finals if they cannot actually progress for their points. While on the other hand, BTR still having a full score. Same goes for eArena. Surprisingly, eArena has been so quiet the entire time. While BTR, the one that should be passively playing a bit more conservative, is doing the reverse. I feel that it should be eArena. They're trying to hunt people down right now based on their points.
Yeah, but rightfully so for BTR because they got nothing to lose. Whereas eArena, they kind of need those points. First of all, they need to break into 97 points. So they need to ensure a top 4, which is why they are not subscribing into multiple fights.
But the 10 points of Chicken will not be enough for them to get to the match point. They need to be more aggressive.
True enough. And the longer they wait, a lot of all these bodies will be off of the list already. FaZe Clan, desperate attempt to get into the zone, and they drive straight towards the crosshair of Alpigo, but they crash onto MAQNA.
Now, Rosemary, how he will respond to this. At least the rest of his history for FaZe, but BTR, they're going straight into eArena. Oh, this might be it. Make it big or make it home. But Vaxi, he's holding the doors. On the side of BTR, it's going to be NCT taking them down. Federales coming out inside. BTR won. The next contender being put on hold for their progress of map and points. This is huge for BTR. They still managed to work out as a 3. 10 points elimination. It should have been eArena in their shoes.
This might just be over right here, right now. Somebody's got to stop them, but they're fighting against each other instead. BLUG holding down the line. They have a perfect line of sight against the rest of Vampire Esports, making a dance. Xbox, he's clutching this moment, but he gets brought down instead. MAQNA, with 1 HP left, will have to deal with Stately right now, and they found it. 8 points in for BLUG as they march their way into the top 6.
Now, with BTR having the most men here right now, GLU really have to game up, really have to push all cylinders out. Because if they ended up at the very bottom once more, it's not going to be enough. This is the point that they need, because BTR high chance they have plenty of firepower on their side compared to all the remaining teams that's still alive. But I don't want to jinx it. At the same time, that's going to be the best case scenario for them. But for the other teams, if the game ends here, for DX and GLU, especially these Xaviers, they need the points here. The bodies won't be enough for them to gain the momentum to push slightly just a bit more to make sure they have enough point to get into the grand finals.
I think out of all the many names, FaZe Clan is the one that's most concerned. They don't want it to end because right now they're sitting at number 14. Xavier has a little bit of gap, and all they need to do right now, make it to the top 4, buy a little bit more points. They might be able to also look for an overtake while they're just driving around. BTR has got no care in the world. They're still on the hunt.
This is crazy. I thought they would be a bit more conservative. This is contradicting what I believe. When it comes to the match point, they just, you know what, let loose everything. And like you mentioned, they really let loose of each of the player in here. With Vaxi getting the most eliminations this time. But I do know when it comes to damage, it's still going to be towards Federales, despite the lost rep phase early on. Now, GLU, will they take the bait out of BTR here with them trying to find the rest of the players' position? They split out here, play a 3-touch. They don't even need the other members to deal with the rest of GLU to keep them at bay.
Yeah, and of course, the focal point of this matchup, now that they've settled down Hill Esports, BTR just needs to crush Glue, and the rest will not be a problem for them to settle with because they're gonna be outnumbered overall. Big nades now sent right through.
Noel's in trouble. Here comes another one on top of Noel. It almost chipped down. Collateral damage is more than enough to take down on Noel. That's gonna be go time. And this is the team that having the most lineup on this side. If BTR just completely eliminate GLU, there's no other contenders gonna fight against them anymore.
This performance is absolutely out of this world, which is why they've been known as the Red Aliens, they've been known as the Knights, and now they have the vitality to now triumph. They're gonna run them over. Glue is gone. This might be it.
Is glued to the ground. But we're pounding all the other teams here right now. These Xaviers making it a go against Team Flash. Knowing the fact, oh shoot, we have less bodies to get our points here. At least they score himself that one elimination out of Team Flash. Now that's left with 2v2 for Vikings and these Xaviers while BTR. Will they stop hunting and wait it out, or will they search for these guys?
I think all that there's left to do is go for the hunt, but it's going to be MVKE to really crash the gates of DX and somehow now do 1v1, and they will be able to find that exchange. Vikings still prevail in full send, and it's going to be the Vikings that makes it to the top 2, and BTR is rushing in to close out this weekend.
God. Are you kidding me? This is the shortest day we had in our entire life. When Smash implemented BTR! They smash it back to back! Are you kidding me? This never happened before!
And this is why Coach can say you have to believe in this brand new roster. They've been able to break the record for the fastest smash in Southeast Asia and perhaps even in the world.
I'm calling out all the restaurants. My date is on tonight. We got an off day early. Thanks to BTR, but this is outstanding. This is blowing off my mind. I cannot get over this. Not just we're gonna finally have our social life implemented first time before Castle's Live, but I've never seen a team that's so bold. Despite they are at the match point, they should be conservative. They should be a bit more slower, a bit more safe, but they are playing otherwise. What is going on?
Choo Choo, you gotta understand this. BTR, they don't play by the rules. They invent the rules. And perhaps this is the best way that you can close out those weekends. They have proven it to us right before our eyes. Aggression is the name of the game. And lo and behold, you talk about the damage numbers coming out for Federalis. Vexy so far have been able to also best him. And this is just a full team effort. And all hail BTR. This is a team worthy to be crowned champions again. We'll have to see in the grand finals.
I have to say, the biggest transfer is still going to be Federalis into BTR. I'm just going nuts here. The first time. And this is what, okay, we're back to business. And this is what I'm scared for the other teams yesterday, Contra. Because they are capable to do so for BTR based on their gameplay, how bold, how fearless they can get with Federalis and FaZe playing together. And that's one scary team because they have these two players, they don't think twice. And with BTR, ended the game, ended the SuperWeekeend so fast. Who will make it to the grand finals now?
Yeah, that's the big question because they ended our day. Usually we say we end the night. We're just barely touching dinner time. And Vexy, he is the MVP for now, sure. I would definitely say that back to what Coach Ken did manage to, of course, bring up in that interview. It was the veteran players that enabled this iteration of Federalis, this iteration of Vexy. And of course, we give credit where credit is due. Zuxi, BritFaZe, or whoever that's being brought to be entrusted with these rounds, they make the most out of it. And BTR, the back-to-back win to really steal all the limelight and the show. And now will make some of these other teams who did not acquire points suffer in return. And it might just be celebrations here, but it's heartbreaks for half of these squads.
I want to see, I 100% know he's going to be interviewed with BTR next. I want to know how they set their mindset because it's so difficult for the team that know that they have so much pressure. Well, they can smash it, and they're the only team that can actually smash it, but still play it so aggressively well without jeopardizing too much. Yes, they lost FaZe early on, but now back to the question: who get relegated in the grand finals? There's not enough slot for everybody. We saw the Vikings start to, rise up the occasion, as well as a mixer gang is on top of everybody else. Now, do even Sam9 even make it to the grand finals? Is Talon still eligible? Is Xavier safe? But when it comes to the overall rankings, this is our end, and it's so hard to secure back-to-back, chicken. After you just being eligible, this is the first time in history. We didn't even get to the break.
And it's also crazy that both chicken dinners are upon 20 over points. This one is only 1 point shy out of the previous one that they've been able to touch the smash match point. And you take a look at the gap that they created. Even if there's no such thing as a smash rule, they are leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. They're willing to even run all 8 games if they need to. But take a look at this. Hail Esports, they did manage to push 1 point above FaZe Clan. Is FaZe Clan in the clear? Are they knocked out because they're now sitting at 15?
Ooh, this is tough. I don't think their points are going to be enough, to be honest. I think they're probably going to get tapped out. It's between them and Talon right now. And will we go to even the tiebreaker? And also, when you talked about the points, I agree. I have to give it. I have a feeling FMVP this season is going to be this guy, Federales. That's the mighty of his curl, the power of the curl of his hair, just curling all the other opponents in their seat. And it's crazy that how he actually played out so well. And also, when it comes to BTR, these teams have to watch them out when it comes to the Grand Finals. They might pull this stunt again during the last day of Grand Finals.
Yeah, you know, all the fans, not only from Indonesia, but the Philippines have been rooting for him. And now he is having the best time of his life. And this is the Super Weekend rankings as we have eArena holding the top spot. BTR, they won this with an incredible finish and they will come in second. But take a look at this. We only know up to 12 plays. Congratulations to the teams that have been able to make it to the Grand Finals.
MXG, Vikings are up here. Now back to the question about the others at the bottom. At least for the side of Alter Ego, due to their run early on today, did save them so much. Like I mentioned yesterday, whoever got less than 4 points, they are in trouble right now. It's shaken to the core for their seats. And unfortunately, Sam9 is actually a tie for 3 teams. GLU, Boom, and Sam9 got relegated. Oh, FaZe Clan, despite they have 2 Super Weekends, they didn't make it through as well, and Talon as well there. This is so devastating. They did not make a comeback due to the day cut short, thanks to BTR.
And for the fact of the matter that Boom Esports is not involved, they got saved by the bell. They got to thank BTR for this round, because if Sam9 plays one more match, this could have actually been a different story. A heartbreaking day for the Malaysian fans of Sam9. Same goes to FaZe Clan of Thailand, Talent Esports. Their run ends here. And of course, for those that did not qualify for 2 weekends, they are automatically disqualified as well. So this confirms it. We have got our top 16 teams locked in. And we still see a vast majority coming in from Indonesia, showing their prowess in the Grand Finals.
We want to congratulations again to you guys. Next week, once more, eArena, BTR, Team Flash, TODAK, Vampires, Team Secret, VOIN, Alter Ego, the Vikings, or Team Hill, Mixer Gang, Homebois, MAQNA Esports, the Xaviers, RQ, GLU, and squeezing in Boom. I think Boom is down to that tiebreaker, really. If it's not the chicken, it's going to be placement points down to probably even the elimination. But this is devastating for Sam9, who's actually tied with Boom at the same time. I agree with you. One map can make such a big difference. But at the same time, I'm curious to see and I'm curious to listen. And this is just amazing, man. First smash rule that being so short ever in our Super Weekend.
And it's an early wrap here for day number 2 of our second Super Weekend here at the 2025 PMSL Southeast Asia Fall. After a very thrilling battles here, it ends early as BIGETRON by Vitality's managed to secure a back-to-back winner chicken dinner and then secure this Super Weekend's victory here. So of course, I'm joined here by a representative from the teams here. Welcome on board, Racy, as well as John, our usual face or translator. All right then, so let's jump right into the first question here, Racy. So first of all, congratulations on securing this win within just 3 matches. So how are you feeling so far?
Oke, pertama selamat atas kejayaan hari ini dengan cuma 3 game. Pertanyaannya adalah gimana perasaan kamu sekarang?
Perasaannya pasti senang, kayak kita bisa nyelesain ini dengan cepat lah dan bisa ngasih yang terbaik di hari ini.
Yeah, of course, I feel very, very happy because of we can finish this tournament like this early. And of course, I'm feeling really good right now.
I see, because you guys dominate this competition so far around with such a strong performances here. So with that being said, I understand this is a very brief day, right? It's been a very short day so far, but which moments in today's game do you feel have the biggest impact towards the outcome?
Oke, meskipun kita cuma main 3 game hari ini, menurut kamu di antara 3 game ini match yang manakah yang memberi impact yang sangat besar sampai kalian bisa perform sebagus ini?
Mungkin bukan hari ini ya, mungkin hari kemarin yang kita bisa konsisten dan hari ini kita juga percaya diri buat bisa ngasih lagi yang terbaik.
I think the most impactful is basically yesterday. I mean, I believe that is because of we can carry those consistency into these days, and yeah, we believe that we can do like really good today.
I see. All right then. So with that being said, after this strong finish, can you share us your quote of the days, or maybe even this, for the rest of the teams?
Okay. Ya mungkin ada sedikit kata-kata hari ini buat dari seorang Rezi ataupun mungkin mau nge-taunting kah apakah apa? Coba.
Mungkin kata-katanya maaf cuma 3 match doang.
Okay, I think the quote of the day today basically I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Today we play only 3 match.
Okay, then an apologies rather than a quote over there. All right then, so Racy, I'm glad that you mentioned about consistency because earlier today we interviewed Coach Kent, right? So with that being said, he said that he was very proud of you guys here and the team here. So maybe this is a time now. Do you have any message you'd like to send back to your coach?
Okay, kalau interview tadi kita sempat ngobrol sama Ken juga dan Coach Ken ada bilang yang dia bangga lah sama kalian. Mungkin ada sedikit kata-kata yang mau disampaikan ke Ken sekali lagi.
Mungkin kayak ya terima kasih udah percaya ke kita meskipun di awal-awal kita struggle dan kita bakal buktiin kalau kepercayaan itu pasti ada.
Yeah, I think I just want to say thank you so much to our coach is because of you. He still believe on us even though we are still. I mean, at the first we struggle, but then yeah, we already showed that we can do it, and I hope you keep believing in us.
I see. That's beliefs, right? Of course, here that leads to such a strong performances and great result for you guys, BIGETRON. All right, then this is the last question now, Racy. How do you and the team plan to celebrate this victory tonight and also to prepare for the finals?
Oke, jadi terakhir pertanyaannya ya gimana kamu bakal ngerayain ya kejayaan hari ini dan apa preparation ke finalnya nanti?
Kalau ngerayain sih nggak ada sih, kita tetap fokus karena yang paling penting buat di finalnya. Gimana jadi lebih baik lagi.
So I don't know about the celebration. I mean, we don't really care because right now we just focus on the grand final. Ooh. It's because of the most important part is how can we play really well in the grand final. So that's the question mark.
I see. You guys just stay locked in and focus on the goals over here, right? That would be it for this interview. Thank you very much, BIGETRON's Racy as well as John, our translator here. The curtain has now closed for this season's group stage and Super Weekend here, but that means the finale is about to happen here with the grand final stages about to take place here in Central World, Bangkok, Thailand from the September 26th to September 28th. So please, please, please stay tuned to this very intense competition here at the 2025 PMSL Southeast Asia Fall. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I believe after tonight's finish, within just 3 rounds, BTR have converted the non-believers into believers, and I'm sure the fans of every other team are also wowed with their performance, and this team definitely will be setting their eyes for that championship. Choo-choo, I think like this is so jarring. We've never ended so early before. I don't know what to do with this.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, man. But speaking of which, okay, back to business. This is just a super weekend. But before that, grand finals. Which means they can pull this stunt again. I have to agree with Coach Ken. He formulated the final best version of BTR after such a long time since those Tachibana, Twins, Ryzens, and Microboy time. You remember those times? You were with me. We starting off with the PMCO time for so many years. This is finally, they got the best version of BTR from those days, those golden days. It feels like BTR golden days feels like it's back now. It's finally back with the biggest transfer, I have to give it. It's going to be Federales that completed the whole BTR lineup. For me, yes, it sounds like Redface and Federales duo seems to be very scary. but every part of them, including Razy, plays such a big role when it comes to completing the puzzle for BTR.
Yeah, I feel like every single member is currently super important. Coming from Zuxi as well, being, you know, the DNA of BTR, RA, and so many iterations, and now also passing all the knowledge into the hands of Federalis. They're all really looking like they're for their prime time. And as a matter of fact, I think this version looks even better than the past. And I'm thinking that, you know, Team Flash, eArena, they look so decked out back in week 1. Now they will once again need to go back to the drawing board because right now the power levels are shifting and the grand finals is going to be one hell of a ride. So, Choo Choo, I think that we're definitely in for a treat when it comes down to the next weekend.
Oh, next week it's going to be fun. You guys don't want to miss out. If you guys just join us in the stream, the day is done. We're wrapping up. See you guys for the grand final next week. So it's your loss, by the way. We told you to come in early, but that's going to be out from us. I'm Chichi, and thank you so much, Contra. Thank you so much for your luck as well that we had an early off day. See you guys in the grand finals next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.